Well, the Xbox Developer Direct is almost here. If you're watching this later, this was our waiting room, something we like to do anytime that there is a live event, whether it's Summer Game Fest, a showcase, a State of Play, Nintendo Direct. We like to hang out beforehand. We did it with the Resident Evil showcase. We had a really, really great time. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure your bell button did get switched to personalized. Make sure it's on all. That way you don't miss out on the content. If you have missed any of the uploads or live streams, a good thing to do would be to become a channel member and then get in the Discord. You get access to extra rooms, insight, contact with me, the community, as well as those notifications whenever we do upload or go live, pretty much Monday through Friday, full time. And that is how I do this. If you've never done a membership before on YouTube, I understand it's a little bit different. It's not really something that a lot of people do on YouTube. And for now, we are not doing members content on the channel until YouTube manages to fix it, but we have offered a lot of extras in the Discord, like the green room, and then Saturday nights when my wife comes on the show to react to gaming news, you can take part in the chat as a member. So thank you guys so much for being here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. No real show open today because this is just a waiting room. We don't actually have to do like the monologue or anything like that. Obviously, I think the big thing that people are going to be looking forward to is Fable. And Ganks, let me get you on the board. I knew I was forgetting to do something. Hang on a second. I wonder if I can do this. I wonder if I can go studio mode, members, and then you guys shouldn't be able to see what I'm doing unless I change scenes. Okay, there we go. There we go. I can get access to it without you guys needing to see me switch the scenes. There we go. That was actually not too bad. All right, well, I got somebody to add already. Thank you so much, Gangs, for 33 months over there on Purple. I appreciate the ongoing support. Check your primes, check your renewals, check them all. It helps us hit that weekly goal, and then that unlocks Saturday night with Madam. We have moved that to Saturday night. That is something that we think is helpful. More people can be here. It's better for our schedule as well. So Saturday nights is when we're going to be doing that show from now on, at least for the time being. Good morning, Cardoc Ren, Wired Rope, Gangs, everybody over there on Purple, and everybody on YouTube. I'm excited to see Fable today, says Noctis. Let's just hope Fable isn't infested with slop. I'm probably more optimistic about Fable the more I've gone back and watched that pre-alpha footage. I think they've got a really, really good foundation. I don't think the issue is going to be like how the game looks and feels or anything like that. I think it's going to come down to like fundamental questions of the systems themselves, right? And Rissik's going to kick the day off nice and strong with a 10 bomb to get us to 147. We are 3 away from the next milestone. Every 25, I gift one back. When does it start? Let me put up a timer. Noctis is going to go ahead and gift one as well to get the train going. We're now 2 away. I owe you guys a member whenever we hit a 25 milestone. So whoever hits it gets it, whether it is YouTube or Purple. And Purple's going to steal it with a 5 bomb from Wired Rope. He was really, really quick and slick with it. I now owe Purple a member. Thank you so much for doing that, Wired Rope. Joker Quinn comes in a little too slow on that one. And then a member plus renewal from Dead718. Thank you so much for 37 months. Thank you guys so much. If you're renewing a membership or gifting one to somebody else, that is greatly appreciated. That is how I do this full time. We are continuing to try to hit milestones on the YouTube channel as well as the Purple channel. Trying to get to 75,000 subs on YouTube. That's going to be a big, hopefully, milestone we can manage to hit this year. And then trying to get those sub points back up over there on Purple as well. Kira, he says, love the content. Hope you're fine. Thank you for 8 months. Yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for continuing to use your Prime over there. Let me add that one to the total. Member Plus from Ravenous Gojira, 39 months, is doing my part. You are doing your part, adding to the total. Welcome back, boys. Let's get that timer going. Xbox Dev Direct is today, the 22nd, at 1 p.m. Set, start, show timer. There we go. Now, everybody knows when it is whenever they come into the show. $10 super chat from Arkham Games. Appreciate your chat. I started Returnal. It's not for the week. I'm considering start playing Resident Evil. Is a Village a good one to start with? Man, I'm a bad person to answer this question. The first one I ever played was... the first Resident Evil I played was Resident Evil 7, and I loved it, which made me not like Resident Evil Village as much. There are people that love Village. I don't know what the right one to start with is, to be quite honest with you. It's going to be really down to, a lot of things. The Biome 3 boss is BS. Biome 3 boss? The Biome 3 boss? Really? I've found that one to be quite a bit easier. Yeah, really good to see you guys. Gene Park has a GoFundMe. Can you get me a link, Fuzzy? I'm going to throw it in the chat. The homie's back in it again. My heart goes out to him, man. His cancer's at stage 4. That's devastating to find out. His treatment's really expensive. He put up a GoFundMe. It was less than $4,000 yesterday when I shared it, and it's over 90,000 now. So anything helps. Times are tough. I get it. Any little bit helps. If a couple hundred people throwing $5 at something like that can really make that total go up. So I'll put a link for you guys in chat in just a moment. People in chat are saying start with the RE remake. You can play them in whatever order, but 4 remake is the GOAT. That was the one I just didn't like. Biome 3 bosses BS. It takes 20 minutes to get to. Huh. Could you give us your insights on the actor they chose for the God of War show? What do you mean? There's backlash? I haven't seen any backlash. All right, guys, I'm going to put the link to Gene Park's GoFundMe in the chat for both of you. There you go. Any little bit helps. If you can't, that's fine. Share it with other people if you've got socials and places to share it. Gene's always been very kind to me, in a time where people can be really nasty and just believe everything they hear about you. Like, he's always been very kind, and I always appreciate that. So hate to see somebody having to go back in and fight against the horrible thing that takes so many people from us. This will be my last month as a YouTube member. I'm getting married in November, and I need to save every penny. My Prime will have to be my sub. Hey, man, that's a big congrats to you. And I've always said, man, take care of y'all first. Take care of y'all first. We gift like crazy here. Maybe you'll scoop one up, And yes, I do really appreciate y'all using your Primes on my Purple channel. If you guys pay for Amazon Prime, that's an easy thing to do every month. It doesn't cost you any extra because it's just included with Amazon Prime. You're playing 4 remake. It's your favorite. Yeah, I don't know. I just couldn't vibe with it. It didn't, there was something, it felt very, I went back and watched the footage. I described it as I felt like it was in a straitjacket, and I can kind of remember, it just didn't, I don't know. There was something about it that I just didn't like. Felt really constrained and, kind of rigid. Yo, what's good, Feed? I see you in the chat. Thank you guys again for being here. If you're on YouTube, I didn't do a show open or anything. We're just right in the thick of it. I'll undeafen in the Discord. There we go. We're just already in the thick of the, just talking and hanging out. So make sure you're hitting the like button on YouTube. That's very, very helpful to me. This is the show we've been waiting for since E3. I mean, if you're a big Fable fan, probably, yeah. Did you see the Ubisoft restructure? Oh, yeah, homie, I covered it as soon as it broke, my man. Like, I reacted to an article and everything. It's terrible. I was just thinking the other day, I was like, man, Ubi stock is pretty low. Maybe it's time to grab some. Really glad I had a busy morning and didn't manage to do that because they're taking a dive again. $2 super chat. Have you ever played Fable? Any thoughts on the new one? I played Fable 3 way back in the day, and my memory was that I enjoyed it. When it got into the governing part, I think I checked out. That's my memory. Eugene with 52 months in a VIP. Let me add it to the total. It was like, it started to feel like a different game, right? Like, I remember early on thinking, this is really fun, I really like this. And then as time went on, I didn't like when you got into, like, it felt like it really changed. I remember enjoying my time with it, but I remember once it got to that point, it didn't really appeal to me as much. I liked the beginning when I was like, I remember going down to the caves and stuff. I feel like it's been a lifetime since I played that. I played that when we were at our second duplex. Our first duplex, second place that we lived. That would have been 2009. I mean, homie, that's close to 20 years ago. I have such a hard time remembering what I was doing in that game. So when is it coming? I got a countdown right next to me. Xbox Developer Direct, basically 3 hours and 45 minutes or so. We're gonna cover it. Have you checked Marathon on Steam lately? Yeah, it dropped really quick, and the standing on PlayStation hasn't budged. So I don't. Again, there are people saying that that's an hourly thing and that there's no way to manipulate it or whatever. I'm like, listen, man, we'll wait and see when the game comes out. It's in 27th place on Steam top sellers, 27th for the United States. So in the United States, it's not even top 25 anymore. When you go global, it has fallen all the way to 49th. So it's barely holding on to top 50 global. So I would say kind of what we thought initially, at least on Steam. You got those early adopters that were kind of already locked in anyway. I saw a really interesting video from Bellular, and he cited a report that talked about the number of hours that somebody needs to see a game. Like, it was essentially studying the marketing of a video game. And, like, the number of times somebody needs to see a piece of marketing footage, something, before they buy the game. And it was pretty high. And that, I think, is very much related to the thing that I was talking about with Marathon, how the interest has dropped off. Like, if you look at the number of times the videos have been seen, it has been a steady decline. Well, what that would mean is that you've lost a lot of people already. They're not paying attention. They're not watching videos, trailers, gameplay, breakdowns, anything, which means the likelihood of them purchasing the game has gone down significantly to almost a zero, right? It's not a guaranteed thing. It doesn't mean that you have to see stuff that many times. It was just a trend. You know, they were kind of studying the efficacy of marketing within video games. And when Bellular said that, I was like, I think what was he talking about? High Guard? Yeah, he was talking about High Guard. I was like, I don't think it looks too good for Marathon then. The momentum's not there. The consumer inertia is not there. I was like, I don't know. For a live service game, that's got to spell trouble. It's got to spell trouble. I don't know if internally they're popping champagne just yet. You know what I mean? Fable 3 felt rushed and incomplete. For the governing portion, I just bought real estate, raised the rent, and left the game running, and I was able to keep whatever promised to help everyone. Yeah, I don't remember how it worked. I don't remember what I did. I just remember when we got to the governing portion of the game, I wasn't enjoying it as much. So, maybe good traffic for this channel. Hopefully 18,000 viewers with a recommend to this channel. Huh? What are you talking about, D-Tom? What, 18,000 viewers? What do you mean? Yo, it's good, Lady Gamer. How are you? Remember when they promised the ever-evolving tree in Fable? Never happened. Yeah, I'm not concerned. I've gone back and I've watched the pre-alpha footage of Fable a handful of times. We looked at it the other day, and I was like, I think it looks good. I think this game has a lot of promise. I'm not concerned about that. I think the concern would be, you know, is the team behind this, you know, equipped to really pull in, you know, like enough people that know what they're doing to do systems and RPG and all of that? Like, I just don't know. Is this their pedigree? Like, I know they brought people in from other teams to help, so I think that's going to be the fundamental question. Now, I don't need super elaborate RPG systems. You guys know me. I'm not big on, you know, dialogue heavy, dialogue tree, any of that. Like, when I look at this game, I'm like, man, I'm looking at that combat. I'm looking at that world. Let me just go questing. Let me just grab a bunch of quests and go. Do you see, like, so I'm not necessarily even concerned about that. I'm just thinking from the bigger picture of the community and people that are looking for this game to be like an excellent RPG. Are they going to get it? Is it going to be more action? Is it going to be, more? Is the governing aspect going to be there this time? Those are a lot of questions I think that people probably have. I'm still pissed that Perfect Dark was canceled so far into development. Yeah, I mean, you look at the Ubisoft situation, and it's like, games are expensive, man. You hit a certain point, and they're like, you got to go. You're taking too long. It's too expensive, which sucks. But when these companies get to that point of, trying to turn every nickel into a dime, that's what they're going to do, I reckon if Fable is at the quality of the Harry Potter game, it should be good. Yeah, Hogwarts Legacy. I saw some screenshots this morning on my timeline. People were talking about it, and I was like, man, that game really, it flew under the radar because the press was so, the gaming press really just did not give that game a fair shot, man. That game is criminally underrated. Can't wait for Forza 6. Do you think Playground will go back to Forza if Fable is a success? A handful of things could happen. I mean, Forza 6 is coming, so what do you mean? What do you mean go back to Forza? Forza 6 is coming. I would imagine that there's people that have worked on Fable that have decided they really like making a game like that. Maybe you start to break the team up a little bit, 34 today. Hope the showcase is good. Just bought Fable Anniversary Edition for $12. Are you saying it's your birthday, Amskin? Happy birthday, brother. You think Playground? Well, I read that. I didn't realize the Styx game was coming next month as well. I'm actually interested in it. Don't know why, though. Let's hope Forza 6 isn't Forza 5 because you can win hundreds of cars just by spinning wheels. Yo, what's good, Jack? He says, I'm disappointed with the Coalition. How can Gears of War E-Day not be main feature in the Xbox showcase? This is supposed to be Gears Year, 20th anniversary. Should be Gears Mania. Does Microsoft care? Jack, I'm not going to try to get your hopes up, but I'm going to throw out a theory. Given everything you just said, do you see Gears being the big direct at the summer showcase? Because Xbox has got to have something killer there, and it ain't going to be Call of Duty this year. So maybe they gave that to Gears. I don't know. If it's the 20th anniversary, we're starting to hear rumblings about, didn't Shinobi or somebody post something yesterday about Gears of War E-Day and what it was going to do? Like, some of the info is starting to come out. PlayStation price went up, but there were significant holiday discounts. Wait, did they quietly do a price bump over there at PlayStation? Or are you talking about game prices? Are you talking about, did the hardware go back up? Or are you saying that the discounts are over? Or is it both? Hit that like button. Hit that like button, y'all. You got us to over 100 likes. I appreciate it very, very much. I'm seeing a digital PS5 on their direct site right now for $400. Are you talking about games? Yeah, the Pro is $750 on their site. I don't know. I don't know. Why are they selling the... Yeah, they're selling the Fortnite 825 gig. Yeah, if you're trying to get one on the cheap right now, I mean, the PS5 digital, the Fortnite Flowering Chaos bundle, for some reason it's $400. It's cheaper than the standard. Maybe they're trying to move through the inventory or something. I don't know. How much storage? The 825 gig one. So that's like the base lowest model you can get, right? Base PS5 825. And then the Pro is $700. I'm sorry, $750. I apologize. $750. You can't get the anniversary edition anymore. 1 terabyte PlayStation with the disc drive is $550. And then they got the 1 terabyte Fortnite one for $450. Price for the quarters is pretty much a wash. Okay. So I'm not seeing the console prices going up. If they are, it hadn't happened yet on their direct site. Excuse me. Yeah, if you guys want to know when the Xbox Developer Direct is, I got a countdown right here for you on the side of the screen. I was going to get my PS5 for my birthday for GTA 6, but I'll probably get it for Christmas. Want a Pro for $700. It's $750. Wasn't Pro $700? $700 at launch, right? It was $750 when they raised the price last year. It's been $750 for what? 4 months? 5 months now, I think. You're hoping for a Modern Warfare 3 remaster? Jack says, I'm not sure. Why not show another trailer, a 1-minute gameplay video? Well, here's the thing, Jack. Again, I'm going to throw out another theory. There's supposed to be a surprise game today. I think the rumor was it was a new IP, though. Like, if Gears was going to be there, I feel like you'd say something ahead of time. I don't know. It's been $750 since August. Okay, yeah. So I think I had the count right, around 4 or 5 months. Yeah, so it's been $750 for a while. When you said the prices went up, I thought they've raised the price again. It's not a great month for that. The Direct has got to be good. Xbox needs to start this year strong. Hoping Fable looks top tier. I think going forward, I think Xbox's events and showcases can always be good. They've just got so much property. What they've got to do is let the devs work. Let them do their thing. You canceled some games. You shut some studios down. All right, dust yourself off. Now let's start making some friggin' video games. Imagine having characters like Man-Thing, or I don't know, Apocalypse, but you make Field? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. It sounds like you're mad they made Starfield. Why have Gears a surprise when you confirmed it at the Game Awards? It's not a shock anymore. Just show us what you're working on. I'd put money on Gears having its own pretty significant thing at some point, Jack. I don't think they sit on that title and just give it like regular marketing. There could be an event that's only about Gears. There could be a significant, you know how they did with Starfield, the Starfield Direct after the showcase? They could do one for Gears. I know it's off topic, Ubisoft, but did you see apparently another round is planned for 2028, cut studio closures and then some? How can they plan that 2 years in advance? So they already know that in 2 years they're going to do it. So like right now the morale would be, yeah, you're working at a studio and on a project that, you know, you might have like a 24-month countdown. Maybe we get another roadmap. If I was Xbox, I would stop doing roadmaps. Just show us games. Show us games and give us release dates. Get back to basics. Cut the roadmap nonsense. Just stop it. Like let's just talk about the games, show the games, and give me a release date. Quit showing me like a 12-month roadmap that we all know is like unlikely to hold. That's like, I want you to think about that. Like, there's probably a reason that lots of other companies don't do that, because it's like, you're not going to hit the dates. It's just, there's too many games. There's too many fluctuations. There's too many things that happen. Lots of little 2 week, 1 week, 1 month, 2 months, 6 month delays here and there. It's become very, very common now, which I don't think is a problem. I would rather studios take the extra time if they need it, but I wouldn't do roadmaps anymore. I hope the Xbox Direct is interesting. Some of the stuff's been announced so long ago, it's lost so much momentum. Yeah, you really got to wonder if the marketing strategy of, hey, we're making this game and you can play it in, 18 months, 12 months, if that's just a better use of the money. I don't know. I feel like walking into this gen, both studios were doing that. Both companies were doing that, right? They cast this vision for the gen. They show you a crap ton of games, and a lot of them haven't come out yet, right? Wolverine would be an example from PlayStation. Showed it really early. It seemed like PlayStation was moving away from that. But then they showed Intergalactic, and it's like, well, yeah, you showed Intergalactic at like the end of 2024. So well over a year ago, and it's not due to be out until 2027. I don't know. I was really hoping the PlayStation was moving away from that. I don't like hearing about games that far in advance. It's just, I don't know. I get it. You want to cast the vision. Maybe you're trying to hire. Maybe you're trying to get talent. Maybe you're trying to keep shareholders happy. They want to see you kind of flex your marketing muscle. But man, I'm sick of it. It's like if you're going to show me a game and announce a game, and I might not see it or play it for over 3 years or so, I'm good. I'm like, yeah, you just keep that thing locked up tight and quiet. I'm not excited for in progress or in-engine cutscene. Yeah, I don't care about that anymore. I am totally fine with that in an announcement trailer. If you're going to give me an announcement trailer and it's like in-engine or it's that simulated gameplay or it's purely cinematic, I'm totally fine. Announcement trailers, I give a lot of room. I have a lot of grace there. I'm like, that's fine. You're just announcing the game. Okay. And sometimes you got to announce a game 2.5, 3 years before it comes out. I get it. You're either trying to get people to come work at the company or, you're trying to keep the big boys in the suits happy. Okay, that's fine. After that, I want to see gameplay and I want to see a dadgum release date. Don't come back to the market. Don't come to some event with another cinematic. That was one of the things that drove me batty with Fable. It's like, quit showing up to these events with nothing. And then we got to have these arguments about, that's gameplay. They said it was gameplay. No, it wasn't. Because now that they've actually showed you gameplay, you can tell that the stuff that they were showing you was what I have called simulated gameplay. It's like they're giving you, yeah, this is in the engine. This is kind of like what we want the gameplay to look like. You can do that for your announcement trailer. I'm totally fine with that. Once we get outside of that, now it's time to, to put up or shut up. Give me gameplay or give me a release date. You keep showing up with these cinematics. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I know you can make amazing cinematics. We know you can make great cutscenes. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? State of Decay 3, Perfect Dark. Yeah, they did it multiple times with Fable. It was simulated gameplay. I told y'all it was simulated gameplay for State of Decay 3 as well as Perfect Dark. I was like, it's not, and then people are like, well, but they built the thing for Perfect Dark, and the guy basically said it was like an on-rails thing. It's like, yeah, it was super, super on-rails curated. It's simulated gameplay. That's not them booting up the game and running around and doing stuff and hitting record in OBS. It's not the genuine article. So, quit doing, I want companies to move away from that. They're probably not going to, but, I hope that they do. And the thing with Perfect Dark that's really irritating is they did that, and then it was like, and then it gets canceled. And as somebody who got into my very first, shooter video game with GoldenEye and then subsequently Perfect Dark and Time Splitters 2, that's just, I thought what they had looked pretty cool. I was like, that could be a really great, cool, concept of a game. The whole, espionage spy thing, but it's all over now. That was a demo you show investors? Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is some of the times. It feels like they make something for a boardroom, It's like, okay, this isn't for gamers, this is for the boardroom, but it's what you got, so you bring it to a showcase, That's what it feels like sometimes. It's like, you're not making this for us. You made this for the suits. You want them to be happy and impressed with what you're doing. You know what I mean? It's for the shareholders, but I'm not an effing shareholder, for sure. Here's the other thing you got to realize, Wheeze. They don't just make it for the shareholders. I think they show it to us also for the shareholders. They want it out there in the public. Get out there and have a show of force, right? Drugs on the table, right? They did that in The Wire season 1. They messed the whole case up because you had some what, it wasn't a lieutenant, it was a major that wanted drugs on the table. They wanted a response, right? That's what that feels like. It's like you're making these developers put these things together, and that's all it is. It's just drugs on the table. You're just trying to look impressive, and it's Gamers are like starting to, I think we're starting to see through it at least. A lot of the times I feel like people are finally catching up to, like, if it says in-engine, you know, if it says mix of cinematics and gameplay, we all kind of start rolling our eyes, I think. I would love it if we got away from that. I've always said that I think the Xbox Developer Direct can be one of the best events every year because you can literally focus on what's coming this year, which means you should have really great stuff to show. You're on the runway. The game's coming out within 7 or 8 months. You know? That's a great place to be. I wasn't excited for Perfect Dark. I wanted a third-person Perfect Dark, not some first-person action game just like Indie. Why would you expect that from Perfect Dark? My first shooter was Medal of Honor. That's a good game. Don't Anthem explicitly do that? What are you saying, Zubair? I'm not sure. Cinematic gameplay trailer, release trailer. That's how it should go. Cinematic gameplay release date. I'm okay with that. Yeah. I don't like waiting for a release date, but I'm okay with that order. You got your cinematic announcement. Let everybody know you're making it. Next time you show up, show me some of that gameplay. Let me see that gameplay, baby. And then release date should come next. Like Star Wars Eclipse. Yeah. Yeah, I remember when we got that Jedi Survivor release date, I told people, I said, that's too fast. That is really fast. They had just announced it, and then they had that release date, and I was like, I don't know about that, y'all. Bet you forgot that one. I actually didn't, because I watched somebody do, because of the recent thing with Kathleen Kennedy, there's a lot of videos about, Star Wars and Disney, and that came up. It was, what's his name? I've been watching some of his content recently. I think he's a creative guy. Where is he here? I swore I subscribed to him. He's been on my homepage a lot. The something wizard, real life wizard. What the frick? Anyway, he did a video about Star Wars, like the 100 things that they've messed up with Star Wars or something. And that was one of the things he mentioned. He mentioned, like, all of the Star Wars games. Real life fake wizard is his name. So he did a video, 100 ways Kathleen Kennedy killed Star Wars, whatever. Everybody's, obviously going in for their pound of flesh now that she's finally out. Probably isn't going to get much better, y'all. But anyways, that was one of the things he mentioned. Like, a lot of people forget that Disney said they wanted like a new Star Wars game every 6 months. And I remember when I heard that, I said, that's freaking terrible. Just 100. He acknowledged in the video that there's more than 100. So it's a pretty good video. I've been watching a lot of AI Star Wars content on YouTube. Yeah, I can't bring myself to watch any of that. It just looks I think it looks bad. You watched The Wire? I'd never watched it before. I always heard it was really good, so I'm working my way through it. I started this year, I wanted to get back on the stationary bike. I got a stationary bike a couple years ago because I got issues with blood pressure, and that's a big thing to help, is just be more physically active. And last year wasn't a great year, Got a little low, got a little frustrated, wasn't on the bike, wasn't taking care of myself, and I was like, all right, January, I'm going to get back on the bike. And so I told my wife, I said, if you get me, we found like a pretty well-reviewed, inexpensive tablet. I was like, that's the only thing I want for Christmas. I was like, I don't really want much. Usually I want the kids to get a bunch of stuff and then I'm good. I was like, if I got a tablet and I've got shows to watch, I know that motivates me to get back on the bike. I know it does. It just does. And so that's what I started with. I started with that show. I've been enjoying it. Hey, Star Wars content on YouTube, please no. Yeah, I can't watch any of it. I think it looks so bad. Star Wars Level 1313. Yeah, he brings that up in the video as well. Yeah, there's been a lot of Star Wars games that just announced canceled or announced disappeared. Yeah. Yeah. These... You have to understand that, like, people coming from the outside into gaming, they don't understand any of it. And so they come in and they're like, well, listen... we understand how long you can turn around a TV show, a season, or a movie. So we're going to apply that to video games, and we want a new Star Wars game every 6 months. And it's like the odds of that turning over quality content is terrible. Not only is it the odds of it turning over good content incredibly low, you're also probably going to hurt every subsequent project after, because people are just going to start to assume that like Star Wars video games, suck. That's something that happens with video game movies and TV shows. We generally just presume that they're going to be stinking terrible, right? Well, cadence over quality is a terrible strategy. So I remember when Star Wars implemented that plan, I was like, this is going to be terrible because you guys don't understand what it takes to make a good game. You don't understand what the development timelines look like, how often games have to get delayed. Even if games are commonly getting delayed for 6 months to a year, that's going to completely disrupt the plan of saying, but we need a new Star Wars game every 6 months. That's just insane. Corporate Karens. It's not even corporate Karens. A lot of the people that make these kinds of demands are just C-suite employees that are like, no excuses, just results. I worked for a guy who literally said that, and he wasn't kidding around. No excuses, just results. It's like, Jiminy Christmas, you're like a walking cliche. Like, he said it out loud and like really thought it was something that he said. I was like, the frick? No excuses, just results? Okay. The churn rate under guys like him was terrible. They couldn't keep employees. He made it awful to work there. It was like working for a stereotypical, manager out of a TV show or something. It was freaking awful. Well, it's the same thing when you try to apply that kind of rigidity to like game development. We need a new Star Wars game. We need a new one every 6 months. You know what I mean? It's like, what the heck? What color was he? Are you asking that question in that way? Huh? What color was he? What the huh? Why'd you phrase it like that? It's Jiminy Christmas. He wasn't green. I mean, he was a suit. What's the difference? He was a suit. You know what I mean? You know the type. They come in the room and they got a chip. They got something to prove. And it's like, all right, here we go. Here's this guy. He's got something to prove, It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where he's from, what he looks like. You know the type. We've all had to work for him at one part in our life. Good night. How long we've been live? 37 minutes. I need a Minority Report. That's a different movie, okay? All right? There's the one with Tom Cruise, and then there's the one that you're talking about. Jiminy. What was his first name? I actually don't remember what his first name was, all right? Who did he vote for? He voted for the bottom line. You know what I mean? That's what he voted for. He wanted to make that money. That's all he cared about was paper. He didn't care about anything else. Man asking me 9 o'clock in the morning, what color was he? Lord, have mercy. Jiminy. Oh my gosh. What about his date of birth? Name of his childhood dog? Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'll tell you this. He wore pinstripe suits and he shouldn't have. He looked stupid. It looked like he was wearing something he stole out of his dad's closet. Listen, as a short man myself, we all have a little streak of the short man syndrome. This guy had it big time. He had it big time. You might as well have called him Napoleon. Whew. Somebody said, was he gay? Why, you looking for a date? You want to date an old man? He's retired now. You know what I'm saying? You looking for a boyfriend? He was called Brad. No, he wasn't. That's funny, though. I worked with a guy called Brad. He was fun, man. He was a good fellow employee. It was fun. I'm telling you, man, your employees, the people you work with, man, they can change the entire outlook of your job. Because when I worked in the mall for AT&T, the foot traffic was terrible. I mean, terrible. But it was the best. It was one of the best jobs I ever had because we just had fun every day. Did you call it a pit stripe? No. Pinstripe. A pinstripe suit? Huh? I don't know if I misspoke or not, but I know it's pinstripe. It might have just sounded. Like I said, Pitt, money's money. Money's money. To quote the great poet Omar, it's all part of the game. You know? Omar said, you do it with your briefcase, I do it with my shotgun, right? Like, money is money. It's all part of the game. It doesn't matter. In any case, those are the types of people that are doing this sort of thing. Right? I heard pinstripe. I wouldn't let you go if you said it wrong. I mean, I got enough lawyers in the room. You know what I mean? I drive them up the wall enough. I think if I would have misspoke on pinstripe, the lawyers would have got me. They'd have been the first to get me. Okay? Because they own at least one. In any case, these are the people that are making these decisions. They're the suits that say, we want a trailer, we want a this, we want a that. You know, we want a new Star Wars game for 6 months. And that, you got to get those people out of the room. You do. You've got to get them out of the room because that's what they do. They say things like, no excuses, just results. Like, they're just idiots. A lot of them failed up. A lot of them failed up. They were in the right place at the right time. And they get the job, not because they're good for it, but because they're the next in line. Again, we all have worked for these people. We all have. A lot of these guys, that's what they do. They just walk around like blowhards. And then that's the stuff they'll say. We need a new Star Wars game every 6 months. I'm telling you. That's my, like, I look at Fable and Gears. I look at all this IP that Xbox has. And I'm thinking, man, keep Microsoft out of the room. Keep them out of the room. You don't want them in there asking for things, pushing for things. You've got to keep them out of the room. They got all these stupid aspirations with AI. One of the worst things that can happen to all of the studios and all the property that Xbox owns, his name is Satya Nadella. He could be literally the worst thing to happen to everything that they own. Because that homie, some of the stuff he's saying about AI. What? No. And the thing is, I don't think you can keep him out of the room. I think he's like, this is my room now. I'm calling the shots. You know? The only thing they've said with AI that sounds interesting to me is using AI to bring back old games. Like, that could be pretty awesome. If there's a way to bring back old games, like I'm talking even maybe before Xbox, I'm talking, can you bring back Atari? Can you bring back Coleco games? Is there a way to do that, with AI? And then obviously, yes, there's all those, Xbox One through, I say Xbox One? No, I'm sorry. I was thinking of the PlayStation 1. Xbox, the original, and then 360 to Xbox One. That whole era. Bloodborne at 60. I wouldn't trust AI to go beyond a certain generation of game, TJ. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't hand it something that complex. You could hand AI something like an old Coleco game. It could recreate that probably with almost minimal, significant flaws. Bloodborne and games like that, if PlayStation starts to think this is a good idea, I don't think you can hand it games like that. I just don't think it would work. It would take too much hand-holding. At that point, just have a freaking studio do it. AI's bleeding money. Yeah, they're not even making money off it, a lot of these companies. They're losing money. Waiting for Sony to have found another 1 to 2 million launch of the PS2 in the garage to take the record now. Nintendo Switch 2 remains the fastest selling video game hardware platform in tracked history. Consoles are dying, y'all. Unit sales of Nintendo Switch 2 are 35% ahead of PlayStation 4 sales pace after 7 months in the market. That's right. PlayStation's going to be like, we found a landfill of PlayStations that we forgot we sold. It's our record again. Guys, can we get 200 likes on the video? Yo, what's good, Nick? I'm so desperate for anything Bloodborne, I went back to the DLC to get trophies that I missed 10 years ago. Now listen, Nick. I'm not going to say you have a problem, but that sounds like you might have a problem. Until AI can make a Doom clone, not interested. Doom is the measurement for everything. Huh? There's a timer on the screen, y'all. If you're wondering when the Xbox Developer Direct is, I don't need to know your time zone. You just have to look at that. We do that now anytime we're doing a waiting room. You think they'll use today to showcase AI in a new way? Well, AI is reminding me a lot of NFTs. Do you guys remember NFTs? Do you remember all those NFT bros that were in here telling us we didn't understand? You know? I tried to explain to one of them that what you're describing to me is the need for perpetual interest in order for value to perpetually go up. This is basically the digital form of a pyramid scheme. It's not a sound business model. And they just told me I didn't understand. I wonder if they still think that. Anyway, the situation with AI feels similar. Okay? It feels similar. Because gamers hate it if they can sense it. Now, they don't care if it's in there and they find out like later when they're like, hey, you guys know there's AI in Arc Raiders, right? And they're like, shut the frick up, we don't care. If we can tell, and if you're kind of trying to sell us on it, I think that's when it starts to stink and people don't want to hear anything about it. It's got to be out of the frame. It has to be out of the frame. If I find out after the fact that like when people found out that there were like placeholder textures in Expedition 33 from AI, like they removed them later, you know, there's a small handful of like these purity testing people that are like, bleh, and they got all mad about it and they deserve to be delisted. I'm not going to buy anything with AI. Okay, you go right ahead, Turbo. We're all proud of your virtue on the situation. But in general, gamers didn't care. You bring it to a showcase, you start trying to sell people on it, you start talking about it, if it's really detectable. Like, look at the difference between, like, the art cards in Call of Duty and how people reacted because it was obviously AI. And look at how people reacted to, like, the AI voices in Arc Raiders. One gets made fun of and memed on and mocked, and then the other, everybody kind of shrugs at. They're like, who cares? If it's in there and nobody can tell, they're not going to care. You start bringing it up in a showcase, you're trying to sell me on it, gamers are going to say, get the frick out of here. They're going to treat it the same way they treated NFTs. Yo, Higgs with 29 months in a VIP. Let's add you to the total. We're well behind pace, boys. Saturday with Madam. You need 500 on the week. Today's a good day to push for it. I'm at work. I have my normal YouTube on my phone and my incognito account on my work PC, so you get 2 likes. 1 girl. Rachel, it's a little too early in the morning for all that, okay? You know what I'm saying? You can't be throwing around those kinds of phrases. Wheezy says it's all incestuous. Consumers aren't buying and interested in it, but big tech companies are so convinced it's God gift as all they do is pass the tech around to each other like a joint at the cookout. I'm 8 months pregnant, Lono. Nothing is too early. Whoo! Okay. That's right. Oh, man. Okay. You know, hopefully that little one's doing all right. They're probably kicking the crap out of you at this point, right? That's usually when they just start going crazy. Single gifted comes in from Amskin, bumps it to 160, bumps to 161 with Siege Master. Thank you so much. Be safe, for real. I got mad respect for women working when they're pregnant. I don't want to work when my back hurts from a rough night of sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to work today. I can't imagine working with that going on. You're getting annihilated every hour of the day. C-section is scheduled for March the 10th. Countdown's on. Oh, was your first that? They weren't going to do a VBAC? Yeah, a lot of doctors don't want to do VBACs. They get all nervous and stuff, which is understandable. Since Modern Warfare 3 Remastered is heavily rumored to be announced today, do you think it's going to have multiplayer included or just campaign? It was an emergency? Okay. Yeah, same here. First one was that. Second one, like, we don't want to do VBAC. It's like, all right, fine. You're geriatric this time. Had preeclampsia last time. They didn't want to mess around. Yeah, I'm 44. How old are you? I'm allowed to ask, by the way. She's like, we're like practically related. I'm allowed to ask that question. 35. Okay, yeah, that's... Yep. It's less risky when you've already had one, I think. If it's your first in those age brackets, it's a little more risky. You know all this. What am I saying? I ain't sitting here trying to mansplain pregnancy to a pregnant woman. Good golly, that's a good way to get shot. You're forcing it on us without consent, says Eugene. Well, what do you mean? Are you talking about if it shows up in a video game? If it shows up in a video game, how's it? What do you mean? Do you mean like within like the software of like Copilot and stuff? This person says, "Can I get a shout out?" Out. I didn't want to shout too loud, but hopefully I shouted out loud enough for you. I think you just did, Lona. You're in danger. No, she understands. She's like, he's an idiot. It's fine. They're more forgiving when you're dumb. So just act dumb. Like, huh? I can't have him watching anyone anymore. He's going to keep code switching. I'm trying not to. I'm really trying not to. Can I get a shout out? I already shouted out. With the Death Stranding 2 ESRB rating going up and down, I think we might see Death Stranding 2 PC announcement today. Why would you... Wait, so why would they announce a PC port of Death Stranding at the Xbox Developer Direct? Huh? That doesn't make any sense to me. I'll be honest with you. I think it's coming to PC pretty quickly because the first one came to PC pretty quickly. It was like 8 months, wasn't it? I think it was like 8 months. Roughly. I don't think they're handling Death Stranding 2 in a unique way. I think they're doing the exact same thing. If anybody looks at Death Stranding 2 coming to PC quickly and tries to cite that as like, oh yeah, ports are coming faster, you know, we heard that might happen. That's not evidence of that. They did the exact same thing with Death Stranding 1. I don't think it would be at a Dev Direct, though. The Developer Direct, from where I sit, is the focus is to be, here are games coming this year, and we're going to talk to the developers about them. Like, that's the point. When's the show start? I got a countdown right next to me. Guys, keep in mind, a lot of the time somebody comes in and asks when the show starts, they're probably watching an ad and they can't see the timer. So let's just keep that in mind. You're blind? Okay, no, yeah. And a lot of people just don't look for it. You're just typing it instinctively. I'm just making sure chat can get a little annoyed with that question. I want people to understand, commonly we get the question because they literally can't see the timer. Or, in the case of the person in chat named Bearable Fan, you know, they're just dumb. So, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I mean, you might be dumb, but I don't think that's what happened. I just think you didn't see it. A $2 super chat from It's Chill Will. Do you think we see a shadow drop today? I mean, maybe. I mean, here's why I think shadow drops are less likely with Xbox going forward. They really, this is my opinion, I think they really hurt the potency of play it day one on Game Pass. I don't think that's quite as potent anymore because it's not play it day one on Game Pass. It's play it day one on Game Pass Ultimate or PC Game Pass. What about the standard Game Pass? Shut the frick up. Like, we don't care about you anymore. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just not as potent. So you do a shadow drop and you're like, play it today on Game Pass Ultimate or PC Game Pass. I don't know. Maybe they just say it and they put a little asterisk on the screen and it's like at the bottom of the screen or something. I don't know. That's just my opinion. My opinion is they hurt the potency of that marketing. They used to just be able to say, play it day one on Game Pass. Then you got Game Pass Core in the mix because that was Xbox Live Gold or whatever the heck, and they brought them all over. They don't get any of that. They get like 20-something, 30-something games. And then the standard version of Game Pass now no longer gets day and date, and Ultimate gets day and date. Ultimate's more expensive than it's ever been. I just don't know. I think they hurt the potency of that. And so my answer to your question is I think shadow drops are less likely now. They could still do it. I'm not saying they won't. I'm gauging likelihood here. And I'm like, I don't know if they're going to do that anymore. They want to sell games, brother. Hi-Fi Rush was a shadow drop, but that was before they made all these changes. That's ancient history at this point. That was years ago. To my point, that was before they made all these changes. They started making these changes, and I don't... Have they done something like that since? I don't know. I don't think that they have. Again, maybe they just say, no, go ahead, let's do it. It was an Xbox Developer Direct rope when they shadow dropped Hi-Fi Rush. Yeah, and you can play it today. I remember everybody went nuts. Phil Spencer comes out with Kojima on his back holding a ROG Ally X. That's right. What do you think we're going to see today? There's going to be a surprise game. I don't know what it is. It's apparently a new IP. Ninja Gaiden Black 2. Oh, that's right. They did it with Ninja Gaiden 2, the remaster. I think that's a little bit different when it's a remaster or something like that. So, yeah, I guess that's proof that they still do it. So, yeah, I don't know. I would set your expectations on shadow drops to a lower probability going forward. I just don't know if that's the focus anymore. I think the focus is let's sell games. You know? Check my last... All right, hang on a second. 100% going to see more quick, awkward announcements for PS5 release. Bone Meal, you're just spamming stuff, man. If you want to hang out, hang out. You just keep saying the same thing over and over. You got to chill, brother. Contribute to the conversation. Everybody here is talking back and forth, and you're just like, God, lame box, God of War. Like, come on, man. I don't know. Was Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered Shadow? It was super quick, wasn't it? They announced it and it came like... Wasn't it? Or no, wait. It was, wasn't it? Yeah. That one just kind of came out of nowhere, wasn't it? I can't remember. It's so hard for me to remember now because we knew about it, but didn't we know about it because of leaks? You need God of War on Xbox? This guy negative, TBH? Who's the guy in chat, or are you saying I'm being negative? I can certainly be negative if you want me to. You don't have a PlayStation? Sounds like a you problem. The Oblivion remaster was a shadow drop, wasn't it? Because we knew about it, but I feel like we only knew about it because of leaks. It's so hard to remember because it's like that. It all bleeds together. It's like, well, we knew about it. We didn't know about it because of an announcement, though. Dan comes in with a Member Plus renewal and gets us to 162. When does it start? I got a countdown right next to me. Listen. We got a lot of people that are going to be gifting members today because people like to celebrate on days like today. We're just going to have to let certain folks just kind of sit it out for the day. He's just spamming. Fable probably will be February. Wait, what? You think Fable's release date's February? I was thinking it was going to be like a summer release or something. I don't know. In 3 hours? Yes, sir. 3 hours. Number 6, I told you, we're getting to 50 times. We're getting 50 times the question. Oh, you're keeping track, Hotshot? How many times somebody asked the question? It was a shadow drop the day Bethesda announced that they dropped it. It was the first time they even spoke about it. Okay. Well, you know, it seems like they're still open to doing them, you know. I think it's to reduce the number of questions to answer. Also, people hype themselves up and delude themselves into thinking they are getting a different final product, and then they leave disappointed. What are you talking about, Mike? And a 5 bomb comes in from Siege Master and gets us to 167. Thank you so much for doing that, Siege Master. Inching us closer to the next milestone of 175. Can I start spamming Intergalactic now? I also needed this on Xbox. It wasn't a true shadow drop. They spoke about it in the day before. I mean, listen. If you announce your game on a Monday or a Tuesday, and then you drop it a day later, I'm calling that a shadow drop. If there wasn't a whisper of it, a teaser, an announcement, a tweet, nothing, I don't know. I would call that a shadow drop. The Oblivion remaster, is it a remaster or it's a remaster, isn't it? Or a remake? I can't remember what they call it. Oblivion remaster is what my mind goes to. That was a shadow drop. Remaster, yeah, that's what I thought. I was like second guessing myself. I was like, wait a minute, it looked really good. Did they classify that as a remake or not? What expectation do you have for release dates for these games? Forza Horizon 6 is going to be the latest one, I would imagine, because it just recently had the announcement. So I feel like it's probably the furthest one out. Do we have a Beast of Reincarnation release date? I don't know if we do or not. Beast of Reincarnation just says this year, so that could be any time. That game came out of nowhere. That's Game Freak. Those are the homies that make Pokemon. Those are the homies that made Pokemon. I don't know. That could land any time. I feel like Fable will be... I was thinking Fable would be like a summer. And then you're going to want to get... You're going to want Forza to be in the market well before GTA 6. Clockwork's not this year. No. Clockwork just did an interview with Game Rant, Game Radar, GameSpot. I think it's one of them. They just did an interview about Clockwork. It's not slated for this year. It sounds like it's shaping up to be an awesome game. It was my favorite trailer from the last Xbox showcase last year. I thought it was great. Comedy, vibe, all of it. I thought it looked awesome. But it's not slated for this year. I think they try to keep the developer direct about games that are coming out this year, not something that's probably slated for 2027, is my guess. Oh, that's right. I completely forgot. Thank you, Jaguar. We know when Forza's coming out. I was thinking it was going to be the latest. Yeah, it's going to be May. It's going to be May. I didn't mean to do that. Oh, gosh. I apologize profusely. And unlike other apologies, I mean this one. Yeah. May is Forza. I thought it was going to be later this year because of what they just recently announced it. But It's that leaked from like that Forza pop-up screen or whatever, right? It's there was the early access you could get, like 4 days of early access. So it's May 19th. Thank you, X Class 55. Yes. It's May 19th. Yep. Really hard to tell because Fable was a big deal for Xbox. Maybe you guys that are saying Fable's going to be really quick, maybe you're right. Because if Forza's May, then maybe they do. Maybe they want Fable out in like, I don't know, March or April or something. February's going to be, wow. Maybe that's what they're hoping to do. Come out, swing real hard and say, here's a huge deep dive. Gameplay's really turned a corner, and it's coming out next month. I mean, I don't know. I think that one works. No apology needed. England, Manchester, says Adam. I'm watching to see what Xbox games are coming to PlayStation. I don't own an Xbox, but I do love Game Pass cloud streaming on my Samsung S90D. The frick did I just read? What? Who talks like that? Who talks like that? Do you guys do that? S90D is a TV. I pieced that together, Rope. I pieced it together. My man's out here with his model number of his TV in conversations. You know? I can't wait to play that new Gears of War on my Samsung S90D. Say what? This man's got that thing memorized. Listen, if it's a really nice TV, I guess that probably makes sense, right? I get it. You're probably very proud and excited. It's probably nice. Samsung makes good stuff. Forza was too far in development for PS5 simultaneous release. Fable's going to be released on PS5 at launch. No way Fable's before Forza. It's a QD OLED. It's a great TV. Okay. Yeah. I didn't consider that, Eugene, that Forza wasn't able to do the simultaneous release according to what we've heard from like the leakers and stuff. And Fable, we heard that one of the reasons it got delayed was so that they could do the simultaneous release. He works at Samsung low-key. Yeah, in here trying to sell TVs, you know what I'm saying? Listen, if you do work for Samsung, I wouldn't mind a little TV back here in the studio. You know, you put B-roll on it and tell people it's a Samsung S90D. Like if you work at Samsung, hook it up. I'll put it right back there. And I'll tell them that Adam sent it. I guess all that speculation. Well, I'm thinking timeline, right? Like, Fable was supposed to be late 2025. If you're going to delay it, Cowboy B-Hop comes in with a membership and gets us to 168. Thank you so much for doing that, guys. That right there is the big thing that we want to see in 2026. We want to see folks hitting that join button, becoming a member, getting that Discord, right? That is a huge thing on YouTube that we need y'all to grab. If you can't do it, I know times are tough. I'm gifting regularly. The community's gifting regularly. But if you can, $5 a month, it goes a long way here. Lono sounding like Samsung shill. I can't believe it. Get a Sony TV, loser. Sorry. I don't know what I own from Sony, other than the PlayStations. I don't think I own electronics from them. My very first Discman still works, and it's Sony. It's impressive. If we get a Modern Warfare 3 remastered, I'm happy to wait for GTA 6 and MW4. Why on earth? I don't know. MW3? But why though? Was MW3 that good? Ooh, baby, a triple. Thank you for the 3-stream streak, Mr. Flesh Weasel. That's a great name. I'm going to enjoy streaming videos off my server with the GLO Trends SA3112C 12-port PC. I'm done. 43 months from his dudeness says, good morning. 169 on the week. Nice. Thank you so much. And a single gifted comes in from Cowboy B-Hop. There it is. We're 5 away. We are 5 away from the next milestone. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it very, very much. And thank you for gifting a member. Thank you for becoming a member. That's very kind of you. Jason Schreier reporting that Ubisoft's market cap is now €500 million. In 2018, it was around 10 billion euros. In 8 years, the company has lost around 95% of its value. Whew. Mr. 1030 with 38 months and a member plus says, oh yeah, dude, my cloud gaming brother flex that Samsung S90D. Good Lord. What's happening? Oh. What is going on? If it's an MW3 remaster, it's going to be campaign only. That's what they did with MW2. And if we're going to include multiplayer in a COD remaster, it'd be MW2. Yeah. I don't necessarily... MW3 was really good, says Creature. However, I think it gets higher praise than it should because it came right... Shoot, off screen. Right before Ghost and the disaster that had followed. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. Is this a shadow drop ad for the S90D? No, I don't think so. MW3 made around the same time as MW2 remastered. They just didn't bring it out. Wait, so you're saying that like it's already a thing? Like we've got solid leakers, you know, people with good track records saying that it's a thing? I don't know about all that. Banshee says, can we get 300 likes? That's a great question to ask. Can we get 300 likes, y'all? We need 50 more. Y'all are the best. Hit that thumbs up. Sony's doing that bad that TCL bought the TV division. I don't know anything about that. I don't cover that kind of stuff. I saw the headlines and I was like, it's TVs and electronics. Cool. I don't care. Like, seeing all these headlines about, like, you know, what Microsoft's doing with Copilot and AI, I didn't cover that either. I was just like, okay. When's it starting? I got a countdown right next to me, 2 hours and 44 minutes. Sony's been out of the TV market for years. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. When I go to the store, I think it looks like it's all like Samsung and Hisense and LG. Is LG still making TVs? COD leakers leaked it years ago. It's ready, and they're just waiting for the right time. This was back in 2021. So you're telling me for 5 years they've been sitting on an MW3 remaster? LG made the best OLEDs. Sony sold 51% of TCL, who will continue to use Sony and Bravia brand names. I don't know anything about any of this. I'm just reading what y'all are saying in chat. I don't know who's in TVs or not anymore. I don't pay attention to it. I don't cover that. You guys would have to go ask Quantum TV. You're gonna have to go ask him. You know what I'm saying? Go ask him what's going on with TVs. I don't know anything about it. It's a joint venture, says Eugene. Okay. I have an LG C7 OLED, top notch. Okay. I mean, I've got an LG monitor right here. I just wasn't. I feel like anytime I go to the store, all I see are Samsungs, LGs, and Hisense. It's a joint venture. I didn't look into it. I don't know what happened. I just saw Sony TVs, and I just all of a sudden I just stopped reading at that point. You guys are submitting questions. Some of y'all submitted questions yesterday, and I didn't get to them. So I don't know if I'm going to go back. Yeah, I'm not going to go back and reread these because a lot of them have to do with Marathon, and I don't want to retread that. So let's just go with the ones from today. Minch Tree says, do you think if Marathon is so... Come on. You think if Marathon is somewhat successful, they should implement it into D3 somehow? I don't freaking know, man. I don't know. I've said my piece about that game. I don't think it has legs, right? It fell so fast with the pre-orders on Steam. I just don't even... I think public interest isn't high enough for it to have a strong enough start. You want to bring up the PlayStation pre-order numbers? All right, go ahead. You know? Go ahead. Let's see. Neo Reaper's got a question here. Should Bungie implement aggression-based matchmaking in Marathon? I don't know, man. I don't know. It might help. It seems like it's going to be a pretty heavy PvP game, so does it really matter? You know? Are people going to be playing that game peaceful? Probably not. Bumblepan says, what's the thing you want to see most from the Direct today? I want to see really, really good, uncut, lengthy gameplay of Fable. That's what I'm wanting to see. Somebody in chat put Port Beggars. I don't know what that is. Super Mario Brothers Wonder is getting a Switch 2 edition with some fun-looking additions. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. My wife and I have moved on from Mario Galaxy 2. We got every single crown, like every level, there's a crown. We got all the stars, 120 stars or whatever. So we're done with that game. We moved on to Core Keeper. Uncut lengthy. Listen, I like all my footage to be uncut and lengthy. Stupid. Y'all are idiots. Some guy made a comment about the Direct, calling people watching it port beggars. Someone in chat said that. Oh, okay. Yeah, again, I don't know what a port beggar is. I don't. I see people saying it. I don't know what it means. You're going to have to define what it means if you're going to say it. Like my men, like I like my Fable trailers. Uncut and lengthy. 80JC with a $5 super chat. He says, can I get a shout out? I had my birthday yesterday, but I passed out before I could super chat after work. Hit the old 35. Yeah, you know, it sounds like you know, getting all sleepy on your own dadgum birthday, you whore. People are like, golly, Lono. Happy birthday, 80JC. Y'all, we have some birthdays going on, you know. Let's get the gifted members up for these people's birthdays. That's a long-standing joke with 80JC on his birthday. It's a running gag. I was streaming with Hilly one night. He came in and said his birthday, and I was like, I told him to shut your whore mouth. And Hilly and I riffed on that for 20 minutes. I couldn't breathe. Oh my gosh. First impression, by the way. Welcome to the party, pal. Do you think we'll get the ability to get horns in Fable 4? I've not put a whole lot of thought into whether or not you'll be able to get horns in Fable. So, you know, maybe. 20 minutes has been 3 years. True. ADJC's the man. I remember riding around in a truck or a Jeep or something with Rachel and ADJC, and it was utter shenanigans, you know? It was quite the juxtaposition. You know, ADJC's being funny. Somebody dropped a grenade in the car. Rachel has this, like, extremely soothing voice. It was quite a cornucopia of sensory impact. And I think our car blew up. I think so. It's good times. Great oldies. I'm sure this will be the least interesting Fable to date. Why? It's not clear how much main character creation. You know, here's the thing about that. I think that she's the main character. Immortal Phoenix is canceled. That's old news, isn't it? I thought they said a long time ago they weren't going to do a sequel to Immortal Phoenix Rising. It didn't do well enough, which is unfortunate. It had a terrible name, by the way. Gods and Monsters was such a dope name, and then they called it Immortals Phoenix Rising. Huh? Like, why didn't they just call it Immortals? Anyway. Alex with 24 months says 2026 games you're looking forward to. Mine are RE9 Requiem, Wolverine, and GTA 6. Not a lot for me apparently this year. Maybe add Rise of Hydra. Mine are Saros is the number 1, Control Resonant is number 2, and then third is Wolverine. Everything else looks great. Which, if you guys are looking for a great Metroidvania, I'm 3 hours into Mio, Memories in Orbit, like the one that's like hand-drawn and stuff. I gotta tell you, the combat and the boss fights are great. The runbacks don't make any sense. They're not even difficult. They're just weird. People on Twitter weren't understanding the clip. Somebody's like, you just ran past a save point. I'm like, that's not a save point. Those are things in the game you can use to get your health back. It's not a save point. It's weird. The lack of like respawn points, checkpoints in that game, it's such a bizarre choice. I'm just giving you fair warning. The fights are so fun, but they're super intense and they're super fast. You can die really quickly. Get all the way to this guy. I'm like, oh, this is cool. This is a cool fight. I kid you not. I recorded the footage. It's a 60-second run back where you don't even fight anything. There's no enemies in your way. There's no challenging platforming. It's 60 seconds. It took me a minute and a half to complete the fight. So the run back is almost the same length as the fight. I'm like, why? It doesn't make any sense. It took me, I think, 10 or 15 tries to beat the boss. They're intense fights. They don't give you a lot in the beginning. You don't have like a dodge yet. You don't have iframes. You got to like time your jumps and stuff. It's very good. It's very satisfying. I like it. But you can die really quickly. No, it's not loading. You can die very quickly. So like you're like, oh man, that was a new move, or I misread that telegraph or what have you. And then you're doing the slowest, most non-plussed run back. It's just this, what? I don't get it at all. I don't know why. So if it takes you 10 or 15 tries on a fight like that, that means 10 or 15 minutes of your time is spent. I'm not kidding. You're doing nothing. You're not. It's not even gameplay. It's like, what is this? Why do y'all do this? Just put a Snake and Marika mechanic in the game. Just let me respawn and retry the boss. You lose your stuff, by the way. You lose your currency. They've got a cool system in the game where you can crystallize your currency and now it's safe, even if you die. If you don't do that, you lose it, right? So you can't go back in the room and get it. So it's not like the run back adds that like layer of, yeah, you got to be good at the run back because you want to get back and get your currency. No, your currency is gone. I just don't get it. It's to me, it just feels like punitive for the sake of being punitive. It's not difficult. It's not challenging. It isn't. And the combat's really enjoyable. The fights in Memories in Orbit, they are really satisfying. They feel great. The responsiveness of the controls are excellent. You get this ability where you like disappear for a second, like that's your dodge, and you can use it to reset your jump. It's super cool. There's like these things flying across the room, and you jump, you hit it with your invisibility, right? So you like absorb it, and then you jump again, do it again, jump again, do it again. It's super neat. It's a really cool thing that I know it's probably going to have some crazy moments, and there'll be some crazy platforming sections. And I'm like, I just don't know why y'all do this. You have this immaculately built platforming, really satisfying combat. I think the art style and the music is fabulous. And you're like, but we're going to make you run all the way back to wherever you just were. I don't know. I think it's such an archaic form of design philosophy. It feels like something from the Nintendo era. I'm like, that you don't need to do this anymore. You have the tech to just give me a checkpoint outside of the boss room. I don't know. If FromSoft can see the light on this subject, and so can everybody else. I don't know. Right now, the runbacks aren't painful. They're just like, you're not doing anything. You're literally not doing anything. It's just like a rite of passage. You're like, jump here, okay. Jump over that guy, fall down here, run across here. It's like, okay, I have to do that 10 or 15 times if I'm in a tough fight. All right, that's cool. It's not invigorating at all. It's a flat tire. It's such a flat tire. It's so boring. And a 5-bomb comes in from Risick, and he secures the next milestone. Thank you so much for doing that, Risick. I owe YouTube a member. Guys, check your re-ups. These are great days to go a little crazy on either platform with the gifting. YouTube, we're trying to unlock that Saturday night stream. Purple, we are trying to get to 500 sub points. Anyway, I can recommend it with that caveat. It is a good game. I am enjoying it. But the caveat is, I don't know why we're doing this. I just don't know why we're doing this. It's just such a gameplay padding nonsense thing. It's like it doesn't add to the game at all. It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. I don't know. I like enjoying the boss fight. I don't like enjoying having to run through incredibly canned, bland, boring platforming sections where I'm not doing anything. You know what I mean? Joker says, enjoy your Saturday night off. It's looking like we're going to get Saturday night off. All right, that's fine with me. I'll watch a movie or something. I'll play more Core Keeper with Madam. Well, that's what we've been playing. If you guys are just tuning in, we're doing an Xbox Developer Direct waiting room. It's going to go live in 2.5 hours. We've been talking about Fable. There's Forza Horizon 6. There is a surprise game that we don't know. And then there is Beast of Reincarnation from Game Freak. They will be there. Did you revisit Lies? I did the other night. I wasn't even having any trouble. I was cruising because you can lower the difficulty now in Lies of P. It just doesn't do anything to me now. It doesn't pull me in. I'm just like, eh. Like I just think my time with those games has passed. I really do. I think my time with those games has passed. I was just like, I feel nothing now. I used to get invigorated by the challenge and the perfect blocks, because I love Sekiro so much. Now I was just like, eh. I love so much about Lies of P. I really do. I think it's just such a gorgeous looking game, unique game. Welcome back, Twitch 13MP. Let me add you to the total. It just doesn't do anything to me now. It activates nothing in my brain. I was just like, I don't know. I enjoyed First Berserker Kazan, but I think First Berserker Kazan was more linear too. I think that helps. I think there's something about the aimlessness and like the mystique of those games where you don't really know where to go next. You don't really know what it is you're working on. Just like, I don't know. They just don't grab me anymore. Part of it is I feel like I was constantly wearing somebody else's shoes. Like I was never really big on those games to begin with. So I think it was always a bit of a mismatch. It was always a bit of a mismatch. I'm a little bit more of a open world action adventure guy. Lies of P is my top 5 Souls games of all time. If I would have gone into Lies of P fresh out of Sekiro, I think I would have liked it a lot more. What happened was, I come fresh out of Sekiro, and I'm like, yo, I love that game. And then I played Elden Ring. And Elden Ring's very different. And the first half of Elden Ring is awesome. And the second half, not so much. I feel like the second half just gets too big on really spammy bosses, lots of area of effect, lots of crap on the ground. I just didn't like the second half of Elden Ring at all. And there's a lot of fans that agree with me on this. This isn't like a skill issue. It's like, sure, whatever you want to say to feel better about somebody criticizing the game that you like. Like, say it's a skill issue. That's fine. I'm old and slow. I readily admit that. The vibe of the game, I feel like, just shifts in the second half. I feel like I would have gone right from Sekiro into a game like Lies of P, which you couldn't have. Lies of P wasn't out yet, but that's what I'm saying. If I would have done that, I think I would have enjoyed Lies of P all the way to credits. So, oh yeah, somebody asked me about Fable. If you guys think in Fable gameplay, are we going to be able to create our own character? Let me explain why I think she's probably the main character. They've got an awful lot of cutscenes and cinematics with her as the main character. Now, unless they did all of those scenes twice, and you can pick like a prefab dude or the prefab girl as her, unless they filmed all those scenes twice, I think she's it. There's even the one scene where they say something about she's back, and you're not sure who they're talking about. You're like, oh, are they talking about the main character? Like, I think she's it. I don't know if you're going to be able to make your own character. Sekiro is still a spiritual experience for you, though? Yeah, it is. It is. That game periodically calls to me. I'm like, oh, I could go back in there and play that. But I just don't have the energy for it right now. I'm trying to chill in the evenings. Those games can get pretty intense, pretty frustrating. She could be the main NPC. When you say main NPC, what do you mean? Do you mean like somebody that you interact with? They're showing her walking around fighting. I'll never forget those 5 hours of this scene. Yeah, dude. It was something. You had a choice in the old game. This is true, but look at the cutscenes. Look at the quality of the cutscenes. Look at the amount of work that went into those. Yo, Rissick, thank you so much for gifting a member. I greatly appreciate it. Let's add that to the total. 178. Lona, just do what I do. Have a weekday game and a weekend game. I can't do that. I get into a game, and that's the game I'm playing until the end. Or sometimes games just buck me. I'm like, I'm good. I'm out. I'm not playing this. Like, I just put them down. If I'm not having a good time, I put them down. Like, I could not stop playing Control. Loved every second of it. All the DLC. Loved it. Can't wait for Resident. I've got some gripes about Control. I think, like, the two bosses in the DLCs, they weren't even hard. They were just really stupidly designed. Like, I went and read, a Reddit thread about the one from, like, the Alan Wake. And because I thought I was doing something wrong. I was like, I think I'm missing a mechanic or something. Because he kept getting his shield back and turning the lights out. And I was like, I don't understand. I felt like I was supposed to do something different at that point. I felt like you're punishing me for doing something wrong. Like, he's getting his shields, like, all the way back. So I thought, there might be something in the room I'm missing, or maybe I missed something. And people on Reddit were like, basically like, no, it's just a terrible fight. And I was like, oh, not missing anything. So I just changed my strategy once I realized it wasn't a mechanical problem. It was a damage output problem. Like, you've got to put out a ton of damage on him. Once I did that, I beat him the next time I did it. I thought I was messing a mechanic up because you keep turning the lights on and then you can damage him. And then he has a second phase where he keeps turning the lights off really quickly. The trick was to just get close to him and just spam the frick out of him. with your grip, because I had my grip really strong, and then I beat him the next time. So it wasn't difficult. I was like, this is too hard. I was like, this is just stupid. Like, what in the world? Like, he keeps getting his shield back. I could not figure it out. I was like, what am I doing wrong here? Minstree coming in with 10 months. Is Fable day and date with PlayStation? Been looking forward to this. Minstree, let me add you to the total. The rumor is that it is day and date, yes. Yeah. Because Control is butt. Oh, no, Control is excellent. I mean, I'm not going to try and convince you to like a game you don't like, but I think it's excellent. Rissick bumps the line to 180. We're a 20 bomb away from 200. Let's see if we can't get some of the big dogs to start dropping them. You guys can't have Rissick doing it every week. He's the one that secured Saturday night for you guys last week, all right? Somebody's got to help this man out here. Yeah, so it wasn't even that it was hard. It was just really dumb. It didn't take me that long. I was just like, something's not right. Went to the Reddit thread, and I was like, nope, yeah, it's just a bad fight. And then the other DLC boss, I beat her first try. It just wasn't very fun. She was just a bullet sponge. She just stood still and would, like, shoot at me and then open these doors so, like, enemies would come in, and it was like, it just was really unsatisfying. I enjoyed the Astral Plane bosses way more. Yo, Rissick with the gifted, thank you so much. And a 5-bomb comes in from Twitch. 13MP rising to the occasion to help Mr. Rissick move the member count along. Yeah, I was disappointed in the DLC bosses because the Astral Plane bosses I thought were great. There were the stronger named enemies you would fight every now and again. I thought they were pretty good, but the bosses for the DLCs were just like, the one, again, the mechanic seemed really stupid, and then a Marshall was her name. She was just like a bullet sponge. She was just kind of annoying, you know. So I'm hoping, since they're going melee base with Control Resonance, I hope they get more creative with the bosses. You know, maybe you got to have like some iframes and maybe some parries or something. You got motion sickness with Control? What's your favorite weapon? I thought the grip just did work. I had that thing stacked with damage. I mean, I was ripping through people with it. And I also had my throwing. That thing, I made that strong right away. Right away. I was just obliterating people with like an office chair. It was like, whoa! It was like their health would just go. The bosses were my least favorite part of Control. Yeah, the DLC bosses, I don't know. I don't know. They weren't hard. They just were really poorly designed. They're real time, a game where you can change your outfit and things you don't pre-render them. Everyone needs to see what they look like at that in the game. Lono thinks they're pre-rendered, just saying that's not how it's going to work. So, Paul, the scene where she's running around away from the giant, the guy from the IT crowd, and the one where she's talking to the guy who's sitting in front of the fireplace, you think that that's happening in the game? You think those are real-time scenes? Homie, I don't think so. I'm not talking about when she's walking around town, brother. Let me show you what I mean. I'm talking about when she's running from the guy from the IT crowd, and then when she's talking to the guy sitting at the fire. Those are fully rendered cutscenes, homie. Hang on, I think I got the capture card set up wrong. Yeah, there we go. Like this. It says in-game footage, but like, you think this is happening in real time in the game engine? Like, so if you walk into this scene with a weird outfit on, that's what you're going to look like. It doesn't have to be real-time cutscenes, but in-engine cutscenes aren't that hard even with better technology. This seems like a fully pre-rendered scene. Now, not this. When she's walking around town, this all looks like what they intend the game to look like. So if you change her outfit or her sword, that's what it's going to look like in the game. Okay? But the scenes where she's with the dude in the fireplace, that does not... This right here does not look like it's happening like in the game. So if like she walks in the room with like a red outfit on that you've changed, to purple, it's going to be purple or something. I just don't know. Some of these look like they're straight up in-engine, like she's going to walk, like right here, she's going to walk up to an NPC. But this here does not look like that. This looks like a straight up, fully rendered cutscene. It's real time. I don't know. Unless the technology has really, really changed. This looks like it could be in-engine. You're right. That, yeah, maybe. The way he moves, you could be right. I just assumed we were looking at pre-rendered cutscenes. The lighting is dramatic. It's not hard. You could be right. Just the level of detail and stuff. I'm like, how on earth, if you're going to walk in the room and have on a different outfit or a different character, like right here, like right there, you're telling me that that's just you in the game walking up looking like that. All right. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe you will be able to make your own character then. I don't know. The level of fidelity in those scenes made me think that's pre-rendered. That's something that they've already made and created. That's not something happening like in the game. That was my assumption. There's the distinct possibility that I was assuming incorrectly, and that's straight up in the engine, and that you could have her outfit look different in those scenes, or you could have a completely different character walk up in those scenes. I don't know. It runs at higher levels, yes, in a cutscene. So what you're saying is that in the cutscene itself, they turn up a bunch of stuff because they can, because you're not moving around. You're not in some big, huge space. They turn all that stuff all the way up. And so, to my eyes, it looks like a freaking cinematic. It's like that's something that they made ahead of time. You're saying, no. It's just in the engine. They just crank the visuals all the way up. Because it's not always going to look like that. Like his individual hair strands and stuff. It's kind of like photo mode in Horizon. Like photo mode in Horizon, you can zoom in all the way on her face and see like peach fuzz, and people are like, there's hair on her face. Like, yeah, she's a human being. $2 from Alex says, how did you beat Lady Butterfly? Madame Butterfly in Sekiro, the thing that unlocked the door for me with her, you hit her until she deflects. That was like seeing the Matrix moment for me. Because when they deflect, it's a different color. It's like orange. Weezy says pre-rendered cutscenes are actually more rare now. Well, if you were hoping to be able to create your own character in Fable, these gentlemen are giving you guys a glimmer of hope. Because anybody could walk into these scenes from what they're saying and look any kind of way. A bearded dude, a bald lady, could be anything. Right? Be careful making those bald ladies. A lot of people get really upset when they see a bald woman now. It's pretty triggering for them. It's really traumatic. This guy's just saying hi, 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 hi. The more I look, there's not going to be a created character. It's just her, but we decide if she's good or bad. It's possible. I have felt like, for the longest, hang on. Breakfast. Okay, I might actually go to that. Hey, Chopper Eric, thank you so much for ordering some coffee. If you guys are coffee drinkers and you've been feeling the pain of the rising cost of coffee, we are selling coffee at $10.95 a bag right now. Ordinarily, they were $16. We have dropped the price significantly. We are trying to move through the inventory. So if you're a coffee drinker, you can get a great, great deal. And that is not a sponsor. This is ours. Oh, the bag's dirty. It tipped over and got a bunch of like carpet stuff on it from the carpet. There we go. Reforge Roast. That is not a sponsor. My wife and kiddos bag that up and ship it to you. My kiddos make little thank you notes. We won't be able to make our own. Thank you and you're welcome. Thank you, Chopper. I'm accepting the real possibility that I'll be playing as her, and if it turns out that there's character creation, that I'll be pleasantly surprised. Lona, your son drew a thank you with the Bobs. Is that a thing or just a one-off for me? The Bobs. He's been making up characters, so I think that was one of the character sets that he's been making, like the Bobs. His favorite character right now is Larry the Stupid Head. That's he's got a whole series of stories that he's drawing and coming up with. They're quite good. They're gripping. They're if you guys order coffee, you may get a Larry the Stupid Head drawing from my son. I'll commission, maybe if we get so many coffee orders in a day, I'll tell him, hey, buddy, we've got some requests for Larry the Stupid Head. And he'll oblige, He'll bless you with some pictures of this guy. It would be weird for Fable to not have at least visual customization of the main character, clothing, hair. Yeah, for sure. Wait, I'm sorry. I forgot to do something. I didn't have a disclaimer before I said the word stupid. I know that's like a really harsh and triggering word for people. I didn't do a trigger warning, so please don't cancel me, I know when you're on YouTube and people are live streaming, hearing such harsh language is so abnormal. So, I apologize for the lack of a trigger warning on Larry the Stupid Head. In any case, I feel like, listen, I feel like she's the main character. Regardless of the technology in the scenes, my 4-year-old nephew is going to tell you that we don't use that word, but it'll be adorable so you won't be mad. That's right. Did you ever get an Alan Wake 2? I think that might be my next backlog game, Brandon. I've got a little bit more time in the evenings to play. I didn't want to play it. Last year, there was times where I could only play for like 30, 40 minutes, maybe an hour. That's really difficult to do with Alan Wake 2. I need to at least be able to clock like a 2-hour play session to get my bearings. I went back to the game because I streamed it or whatever, and I went back like a couple weeks later. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea where I was. I was in a cabin. I went outside. I got attacked by wolves, ran back to the cabin, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And so I just kind of shut it off. I was like, I think if I'm ever going to come back to Alan Wake 2, I'm going to have to literally start all the way over and just like really take my time. And it's definitely one that I could play with like Madam sitting next to me, and we could kind of like look at the clues and like try to piece together what's going on. I think it could be enjoyable, but my schedule allows for it now. It just felt like a game that if I tried to play it at like 30 minutes at a time or something, it just wasn't going to work. It's like, I can't do that. Like with Death Stranding and Yote and other games, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, you can do a mission and then save it. Do a side mission or two and then save it and be done, right? If you guys are looking for the Xbox Developer Direct, you can watch it right here in about 2 hours. I've got a countdown right next to me. Anytime there's an event like this, we do a waiting room. We just kind of hang out. We just kind of talk and chill. So I remember a quick mention some time ago, probably years ago. It was mentioned that you will have a choice to character. Hopefully we find out for sure today. Yeah, I have no idea if that was... I don't remember that being said, Chopper. Maybe somebody can try and find it. The stupid follow to Blue Sky. What are they saying to Schreier? Open link here. To be fair, market cap is a worthless metric. Whether it's the one direction, AI and Tesla being wildly overvalued, or the other, Ubisoft sucks, but it doesn't suck because it's valued lower by the metric of imaginary value. The sole job of a CEO of a publicly traded company is to raise the market cap, so said imaginary value is pretty much the only way to judge their success or failure. This guy says make-believe is still make-believe. Even if people think it's true, it doesn't actually validate the logic. And $1 is really just a piece of green paper that only has value because people believe it does. Welcome to the 9th grade. Do you see, chat? why I went crazy over the years trying to have these discussions with people? It's like basic business acumen just doesn't exist. It's like, welcome to the 9th grade. Like, say what you want about Schreier. That was a body. That was excellent. Like, Jiminy Christmas. That reminds me of the ABK coverage, man. Just the amoeba level intelligence that we got during that coverage from people. Oh my gosh. Whew. Jiminy Christmas. More brain activity in a lukewarm bowl of soup. It was bad, y'all. That's what that reminds me of. Just, it's an imaginary number. It doesn't really matter, and it's made up. Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, okay, whatever you say. Oh, man. Whew, wow. That was good. That put a smile on my face. I strongly disagree. These things aren't arbitrary. Cultural constructs have real meaning for people in that culture. Huh? And that was just a theory. A game theory. Looking forward to trying the Frickmas blend. Oh, did you order some? I appreciate it if you ordered some. Yeah, there it is. Thank you so much, Singer Bro, for grabbing a bag of the Frickmas. Medium and light roast are on sale right now, y'all. Thank you so much. You know what we really want on Xbox is Magic the Gathering card game ported to Xbox. There's not a Magic the Gathering game right now on the Xbox? I don't really follow that game, so I didn't know. I would assume that, I just assumed that there was. I played one a long time ago for you guys. That was back on Purple, and it was like a bounty or something. I don't remember what we were doing or where I played it, though. Let's see. Microsoft has infinite money. Yeah. Remember when we said that, like, studios would get closed and games would get canceled, and they were like, nah, man, that ain't gonna happen. Microsoft's got so much money. There's a reason that they have a lot of money. They're ruthless. And they've really proven that. Perfect Dark. Come out in April? Huh? That's canceled. What you talking about? Are you joking? Assuming you're joking with the laughing face. What is your favorite Forza Horizon? I don't really play games like that. I've never really been, around the racing culture, racing game culture, It's just never been my jam. I played Gran Turismo 7 a couple of times on PSVR 2 just to kind of experience it. Played Forza a couple of times. Scratched Versace with a $2 super chat says, Jez Corden on Reset Era said a male character. Wait, you're saying recently or like a super long time ago? You're saying Jez confirmed you can play as a male character? He saw some of the alpha footage before the public did. He spoke to it having like Witcher-esque vibes, which now that we've seen the footage, I kind of agree with him. He saw footage of the game before we did, so if he's saying they're saying you can play as a male character, You don't become a $1 million or $1 trillion company by having good ethics. No, that's just generally not how it works. Forza Horizon 4 or 5 for you. He said that he saw that in the pre-alpha. He said that after he made the Witcher statement. I believe he saw the footage because the way he described it is exactly what we saw when they finally showed it. Up to then, we had never really seen anything other than like a couple of quick snapshots. But when we finally saw the pre-alpha footage, the footage that he said that he saw, I was like, I believe that he saw it. I believe he had somebody there or a contact there or somebody, or he went to an event or something where they were able to see it. And if he's saying you can play as a male character, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they'll talk about that today. I think it's a safe bet that Fable has character development. They're just highlighting a random created female lead NPC. Well, I don't think it's a random created female lead NPC because she's a real person that they used for all of the mocap. That doesn't seem like something you would do if she's random. I feel like if there's a male, you pick between her or a guy, and then they use like a real person for the whole game. Like, I don't know if you're going to be able to mess around with what she looks like. Because I remember that her picture started floating around, and they're like, she looks nothing like the picture. And then the new trailers came out, and I think, oh no, that looks exactly like her. Freckles and all. I always play as a female. You're tired of looking at guys. You know. I mean, your Google search history, you know what I'm saying? You can look at other stuff, bro. You become $1 trillion company by being the one, if not first software company in human history selling that software. I watched Splinter Cell Death Watch last night. Now I'm hoping that the Splinter Cell unveil to happen. A lot of Ubisoft stuff getting canceled, man. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. If you guys are just tuning in for the Xbox Developer Direct, you can watch it here. We will co-stream it. And I got a countdown right there, 2 hours from now. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, and hang out with us. You might get a gifted member. Dwayne just gifted 5 members, and he bumps the weekly member goal to 191. We are very, very close to the 200. He didn't see it. He reported to have heard back at Summer Game Fest that would allow character selection, probably between male and female, which would be good news for those who didn't fancy the character seen in the trailer so far. No, he did see gameplay. No, he 100% saw gameplay, Paul. It was a different report at a different time. A $5 super chat from Cowboy Bebop. He's a B-Hop, I'm sorry. Says, do you think Playground Games and Turn 10 Studios will develop another Forza Motorsport after Horizon 6 is released? I have no idea. Fable looks fantastic. Witcher-like combat. Character selection reported obvious also. Okay, let's go through here and look. Here's the quote, homie. I very recently saw some alpha gameplay footage from Fable. I have no idea when it was from. I don't know if it was earlier in development or if it was recent, but it looked fantastic. You can tell that the game has CD Projekt Red DNA. Playground Games picked up a bunch of developers. I believe they picked up the combat designer, and you can kind of tell. I'm not saying it's 100% one-to-one with The Witcher, but because it's not, but you can tell with the melee combat, the pirouettes, the dodging, the seamless hack and slash, and the execution, into an execution, which looks really cool. All that stuff is there. He saw it, homie. He saw the dadgum footage. And when we saw the footage, I think it corroborated that he saw stuff. Ghost of Yotei is the third best-selling game in the U.S. on PS5 behind NBA 2K and Battlefield 6. It's time for another video. Ghost of Yotei flopped. It is his third best behind NBA 2K and Battlefield. Come on. The third best-selling game in the U.S.? That means it sold more copies on the PlayStation in the U.S. than Call of Duty? There's no way. I was told it flopped. I was told it was flopped, man. Jiminy Christmas. That's a heck of a flop. Scratch Versace, thank you so much for renewing your membership and getting us to 192. Appreciate you. The evil laugh. It's hard, man. It's hard out here for grifters and liars. It's really tough. You know, it's hard. Facts and evidence are just the most inconvenient thing in the world when you want to just make stuff up. Am I going to play Code Vein 2 next week? I don't know. Let me look at it. People keep asking me that. And I'm like, you might like it. You might like it. I think it's in like that JRPG hit an enemy 85 times style, isn't it? Like, I don't know if I'm going to get down. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look. There's something about a JRPG where you hit an enemy like 1,000 times. It definitely flopped. Kazan anime. Oh, golly. Are those things going to thang and kill you? All right, let's see here. I like the movement. Okay. I mean, he knows where to attack, that's for sure. It's anime Souls. This doesn't look like Souls. This is going to be similar to Kazan? Looks like it's going to have a bit more of an action focus than Kazan, like abilities and stuff. And he's got somebody with him. Can you play this game co-op? If you lose your HP, your partner can revive you. Please be mindful of the cooldown. Your partner is temporarily incapacitated. This is going to be similar to Souls. Really? It's the 11th bestseller when compared to all platform sales, too. It just got bumped out of top 10 for the entire year. Okay, let me see just like moment-to-moment combat. Ooh. Okay. Now hang on now. What do we got here? See, I'm kind of down with this. There's something about like the JRPG where like every enemy you fight, you hit them like 15 times to kill like a butterfly, and I get worn out by that. Like I liked Final Fantasy 16, but even that game got long in the tooth. It's like the fights just go on for forever. They weren't even difficult. They were fun, but they last for forever. I mean, you just like... There was a boss fight, I swear to you, it took me 35 minutes. And I didn't die. It just that's how long the fight was. I swear it was. Somebody says bots trying to act like Phantom Blade ain't coming. What do you mean? Who's trying to act like it's not coming? I've heard a ton of people talk about Code Vein. What do you mean? I think I'm going to have to check this one out. Yeah, guys, show starts in 2 hours. You can watch it here. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Let's try to get to 400 likes. That'd be amazing. Let's see something here. Code Vein 2. Does it have difficulty settings? For the original Code Vein, there's no traditional difficulty settings. It relied instead on the partner system. For the upcoming Code Vein 2, it's confirmed to have dynamic difficulty adjustments through partner choice and abilities with no static easy or hard modes, focusing on strategic depth for varying challenge. Okay. Yeah. I'm telling you, I loved that about First Berserker Kazan. I put that sucker on beginner mode, and it was just like an action game with like a heavy emphasis on parries. It was so fun. That you would still die, bosses could still kick the crap out of you. I loved it. It was perfect at like the perfect temperature, you know, for me, for my preferences. Code Vein 2 is not co-op. No, yeah, it's like a partner that can help you. Yeah. Code Vein 1 ended up being a slog. Did you see the NBD numbers? Yeah, Yote landed 3rd in the US on PlayStation. It landed 11th for the entire year on all platforms. I got to tell you, that's a really big achievement for Sucker Punch. Yo, Tarantino coming in with a Prime in 6 months over there on Purple. Thank you so much. Boys, check your Primes, check your renewals. Check to make sure you hit the like button. It all helps. That's a heck of an achievement for Sucker Punch. It's a sequel that was given a bunch of BS thrown at it by grifters because of the lead character. It's on one platform, and it's up there in 11th place for the entire year. In a year where you had a bunch of sports games come out, Battlefield came out, Call of Duty came out, Borderlands came out, Monster Hunter came out, Elden Ring had their game come out, Night Rain. That's impressive. Split Fiction's up there in 19th place. Now, that's multi-plat, but still, good for them, too. Good for Hazelight. That's a heck of an achievement for Split Fiction to be in the top 20. I was told Yote flopped. Can't be real. Yeah, man. I love Split Fiction. It was so good. Easily one of the best co-op games I've ever played. I absolutely loved it. It was just so fun. So creative. The mechanics were so good. Such a good time. Can't wait for Legends. Yeah. The free mode, the Legends mode that'll come to Yote eventually. Hey, another order of coffee came through. Thank you so much, Michael. Ordering a bag of the Frickmas. Thank you very, very much. Yote was excellent. I'm still torn and put it over if I could put it over Tsushima now. There are areas where I think it excelled beyond Tsushima, and there are areas where I think Tsushima excels. I think they're kind of equals. You know. Do we have info for the event? I just know about Forza, Fable, and Game Freak. We have heard from reliable sources, Drexen, like multiple sources said, there's a surprise game that's going to be there. I believe we've also heard that it's a new IP. That's all we got. So you know as much as we know now. I never naturally stumbled into a platinum until Yote. Really? I don't know what's going to make me pay again for PS Plus. Not even Yote Legends is enticing enough. If you're not using it, yeah, that's fair. You know, it's a lot of people are feeling subscribed, out. There's just everything's a subscription now. So, yeah. Yeah, we don't know what the surprise game's going to be. We don't know, people were asking, like, could there be a shadow drop? There's a lot. There's a lot that could show up today. What did I do for the, okay. I couldn't remember what I did for the thumbnail. Okay. Okay. I wish SOCOM Navy SEALs would come back. Yeah. A lot of people want that one back. If you guys are just tuning in, welcome on in. You can watch the Xbox Developer Direct here in about 2 hours. We're doing a bit of a waiting room. Hit subscribe if you want to be here for the daily talk show. I keep it safe for work. A lot of people listen to the show while they're sitting in the office or driving around, throughout their work day. Because I keep it safe for work, you can just kind of listen and lurk like it's a podcast. That does support me. If you want to support more directly, a membership or a subscription over there on Purple, that is how I do this full time. We are a fan-funded project. That is how this works. We're obviously trying to grow the YouTube channel with uploads as well. So when you watch those and leave comments and you can hype those on your mobile, thank you to everybody who does that. That also helps out. High Guard's got trophies. Apparently one of them is winning a match in under 12 minutes. All right. Give us Witcher DLC. There is Witcher DLC coming, isn't there? Didn't that get leaked? Witcher 3 or something has got actual DLC coming, does it not? Yeah. Fingers crossed this year's a banger. So many games, dude. I saw an article about the surprise game, but didn't open the article. It had Hi-Fi Rush on the cover. Hi-Fi Rush 2. They probably put Hi-Fi Rush on the cover to evoke the memory of Hi-Fi Rush being a surprise shadow drop, and they're probably saying it'll be in that vein. I don't think Hi-Fi Rush 2 is coming. The studio that made that is no longer with Xbox. They got shut down and they got spun back up by somebody. I saw Yote does Yote does a lot of things better than Tsushima, but I think the story in Tsushima, you like the story better. Yeah. Sucks a Perfect Dark died. It does. PlayStation players are not beating the ball and gun allegations. What do you mean? Do you mean gamers aren't beating the ball and gun allegations? Homie, that's a gamer thing. Ball and gun games are There's a reason lots of people think and act that way about games, that like ball and gun games are the only games, because they're like the most popular games. Like, what are we talking about? Have you ever looked at the most played games? Even on PC, you know? A lot of them have guns in them. It's a gamer thing. Now, the sports games obviously have a bigger home, I think, on the console. October Ward putting Light No Fire out there. I don't know if we're getting any Light No Fire today. I think they were trying to do something with the Game Awards. The next time I think we see Light No Fire is Summer Game Fest. I think they're gonna want to do it with Keighley. Every platform's dominated by ball and gun gamers. That's what I'm saying. It's not a PlayStation thing. It's not a PlayStation thing. I think it's a gamer thing. Like, it's ball and gun games are really popular, dude. You know, what hour does the direct start? I don't speak English. It's fine. It's fine. Hablo español un poquito. Y tiempo es aquí. Right here. You can see it right there. Hour and 50. Hour and 50. You can watch it here. I was replying to the top 20 PlayStation games. No, I knew what you were replying to. I'm saying I don't think it's indicative of PlayStation fans. I think it's indicative of like the gaming market. Like, that's just where gamers land. They land in a lot of ball and gun games. Just kind of a thing, you know? Light No Fire would be a fire announcement. It would be. It would be. What are your hopes for this event? I really want to see a good amount of gameplay from Fable. Like, uncut. Don't be messing around with any of these quick cuts. Let me see some gameplay. Take me through a mission. Take me through a fight. Take me through something. You know? Well, no, YouTube asked me for feedback and to rate the stream and chat. Well, hopefully you gave it a big old thumbs up. Do you think Sony will do a state of play for Wolverine? It's very likely, yes. They could also give it the Spider-Man 2 treatment, where it's got like a 20-minute spot in the summer at their state of play, or like a showcase. I don't think they're doing showcases anymore. I think they've moved on from showcases. But yeah, I could see them doing like a 20-minute segment. Yeah. You get the feeling that it's been a while since any games have really caught your attention. Wait. You're saying that to me, or you're saying that you feel that way? I don't feel that way. Plenty of games have my attention. What do you mean? Do you mean like games that I'm playing or announcements? You got to expound on what you're trying to communicate. I don't really understand what you're saying. A ton of games have my attention right now. Either the ones that I'm playing or the ones coming out. I think this year looks fantastic. Excuse me. Light No Fire ain't wasting no time. I don't think Light No Fire it would be at an Xbox event. I think Hello Games would be way more apt to do something with either Keighley or Sony. But time for a full gameplay showcase? Yeah, I think enough time has passed. I think it's time to really show us the game, and that's what they've promised. They're promising a deep dive, so, you know. What time is the direct? I got a countdown right next to me on the screen. Never mind, I see it. No problem. It's a common question. People just come in and immediately ask, and that's why I put the timer there. Seen a lot of takes on how Marathon's going to land. You see any of those vids? I don't think any of the things I've seen or heard in the wake of the pre-orders going live, none of it surprised me. None of it surprises me. Bungie still holds a whole lot of sway. I don't think they will for long. So I think they're yeah. I think their day is coming to an end. Being able to like really sit and move like that and get people to play ball and be, yeah. I think the tide's turning, you know. I think the tide's turning a little bit. Right now, on the runway, sure. A lot of optimism, a lot of everybody was wrong, this thing's going to be amazing. Okay, all right. We'll see. We'll get to the summer of this year, and I think we're going to see a very different picture. That's been my prediction for a while. Wheezy says, like I said, I won't be impressed or disappointed by the launch. We will see 6 months down the road, like I say about every game of service. Mm-hmm. Yep. They got a bumpy road ahead. Every live service does. They got a bumpy road ahead. So we will assess in the summer, and I believe my predictions will ring true. If they don't, cool. But that's where I land on it. It's a new Gears, not a remake. Yeah, who said it's a remake? It's not a remake. It's a prequel. Yeah, it's a prequel. My crazy prediction for 2026 is that Sony does a showcase in September. The last showcase was 2023, and the showcase ends with a 5 to 10 minute segment of GTA 6 with gameplay. That is a heck of a prediction. I don't think that happens at all. No. Number one, I think PlayStation's moved away from showcases. If they were going to do a showcase halfway through the gen is when you would have done it. You'd have come out swinging, and you'd have been like, especially with those holiday sales that they just did, they would have done a showcase. They 100% would have done one. Now, maybe, let's imagine you're correct. I don't think you are, but let's just imagine you're correct. It might make sense why we didn't get one last year, because maybe they were kind of planning one. They get wind that GTA 6 is getting delayed, so then obviously they can't do one. So, okay, that could have been a possibility. But I genuinely think, from everything that's happened and transpired, I think they've completely moved away from showcases. I think they just do state of plays. I think that's what they have done. The rumored to have the marketing rights for GTA 6, I don't think they have the marketing rights. I think they're in a marketing contract. Having the marketing rights is insane. Like, Rockstar's not handing over the marketing rights to Sony. I think they're in a marketing contract. Maybe that's what you mean. And I think we'll see evidence of that soon. If the date holds, we'll see evidence of that very soon. I don't think they're doing showcases again. I also don't know if Rockstar is going to do that. You're gonna hand a big old segment thing to a PlayStation event? Is there a pattern of them doing that? I feel like the pattern is they do their own thing and they don't come to events. I think that's their pattern. They wouldn't share the stage with GTA 6 as it would make everyone forget about anything else that they showed. If they were to do that, Bumble, they'd have to do it after Wolverine was out. Believe you me, Sony wouldn't say no to that, brother. You talk about jet fuel in the tank selling PlayStation 5s. They would take that. They would take that in a heartbeat. You're going to let us end? Like, let's imagine they're doing a showcase again or something. And GTA 6 is like, yeah, we want to be your show ender. Brother, they would do it. They're trying to sell PlayStations. They're trying to make money. And that would be a huge boost to their ability to sell PS5s. It already is going to be a huge boost to their market saturation. They're going to be like the de facto console. I don't know if they'd say no to that. I don't think Rockstar would do it. I think Rockstar does their own thing. Rockstar is just like, yeah, we don't need to come to an event. What do you mean? We're Rockstar. They can fart on Twitter and it'll go viral. Like, they don't need to go to an event. GTA 5 was at the 2020 showcase. The remaster version. Yeah. They have shown... Rockstar's shown a pretty consistent trend of not doing that. They don't do events. They don't go to this. Homie, they were not at the Game Awards. The Game Awards is the most watched gaming event. Like, it's the king. They weren't even there with like a reminder trailer. Just like a, hey, don't forget about us. Because they don't need to do that. But You see what I'm saying? That's who you're talking about. Like, they didn't even go to the Game Awards. They didn't even give Keighley like a 30-second reminder trailer about like GTA 6 in 2026. Like, Sony has a very good relationship with Rockstar, and yes, they can still do their own thing and still give Sony a trailer. I don't know. I think there is something to be said about the consistency that they have where they don't do anything with anybody. Once the game's out, sure, they'll show up to events. You can announce this, that, or the third, a remaster or an update or something. But, buddy, GTA 6, they're holding that sucker close. Here's the real reason why. They probably don't want to do anything with anybody's event. It'd get leaked. These things are planned super far in advance. So I want you to think about this. They got to have something ready, let's say a month or more in advance, minimum. You're not sending the trailer over to Sony like day of. So they're going to have their hands on this trailer in advance. It's going to pass through multiple channels. As soon as that happens, that sucker leaks. That sucker going to leak before you could even say leak. I think that's probably why they don't go to events like this. You inevitably have your stuff leaked. You're freaking Rockstar. I mean, they have a serious problem with leaks. They fired people because of it. I think that's one of the reasons, not the only reason. I think that's one of the reasons they don't do events like that, because too many hands touch their stuff and then it gets on the internet ahead of time. They don't like that. They don't. More importantly, says Wheezy, they're not going to show up at these events because they still don't know when GTA 6 is coming out. For sure. For sure. I think when you don't really have your release date, that's another problem. But I'm not talking about those types of trailers. What are they? Homie, your prediction was substantive. Did I misread? You said that the showcase would end with a 5 to 10 minute segment of GTA 6 with gameplay. Brother, that is gonna leak. Unless they did something where it was live and they showed up with B-roll in hand on a hard drive and then they had it run like right then and there, ain't no way it would leak. By September, we will already have seen multiple trailers. Yeah, but okay, you need to think about it the way that they think about it, brother. Go read how they spoke about these people being fired. They take it extremely, extremely serious when stuff leaks. Like, somebody lost their job because they told us the characters' names were Jason and Lucia. You don't think they'd be, like, a little anxious and a little, like, claws gripped on a trailer and some gameplay? I don't know. You said it was a wild take. I grant you that. That's a wild take. I don't think they're going to do it. I think you got two things way off. I don't think PlayStation's doing showcases anymore, and I don't think Rockstar wants to risk the leak. They do their own thing. They have their own way of doing things. Rockstar does things at their own pace as Wheezy. They don't show up at a showcase event because they want to completely control the narrative of the newsfeed around their product. Rockstar very much wants to control the entire narrative. Yeah, they don't want anybody else holding their baby. It's theirs. Jason's got a bat called Lucille. Jason and Lucia. That is kind of funny. Unless there's another hacker that leaks all of it, who knows? It's not a leak if the gameplay trailers already have come out. So, okay, hang on. So your prediction is that PlayStation would do a showcase and then show stuff that we've already seen? That also doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that? Now, maybe your pushback would be, well, they're going to do that and then they're going to announce bundles, like buy the PlayStation 5 GTA 6 bundle, so they use pre-existing trailers and footage. Okay, I'm going to give you the weakest maybe ever. Maybe. If it's already out there, if the trailers and the footage have already been released by Rockstar and PlayStation does decide to do some kind of a big event, I will give you a maybe that they would say, yeah, let's include Rockstar and GTA 6 in the show. We're going to show stuff that they've already released, and then we're going to announce bundles. Maybe. I just have a really hard time seeing that happening because I do not think that PlayStation's doing showcases anymore. I just don't think so. Last year would have been a great year to do it. You got Wolverine, Saros, and Phantom Blade Zero coming this year. You got Intergalactic. You got a whole host of other surprises you could outline and announce to really, really put some gas in the tank for the second half of the gen. You're going into the second half of the gen. You're about to put your PlayStation 5 and Pro on sale. Big, huge sales of your games. The platform-wide sale for PlayStation. That would have been the time to do a showcase, and they didn't do it. Now, again, your pushback could be they had the showcase, tentatively planned and booked around GTA 6 being included, and with GTA 6 getting delayed, they opted to not do one. That certainly could be a very thin possibility. I just think that they have signaled no more showcases than State of Play. Geez. Again, let's say that they do a State of Play. I don't think GTA 6 would be included in something like that, not because of PlayStation, but because of Rockstar. I don't think so. I think Rockstar would say no. They're like, we do our own thing. We can put something on Twitter. Now, again, if your prediction would be you do a State of Play and you used footage and trailers that are already in the wild, so you're not breaking anything, but you announce a bundle, okay, yeah, maybe. Maybe. I think the next PlayStation Showcase will be a PlayStation 6 show. It wouldn't surprise me if that just ends up being a PlayStation 6 State of Play, brother. And a 5-bomb comes in from Super Gaming. He puts us on the doorstep, a 200. Thank you so much, sir. We're close to the next milestone where I owe you guys a member. The competition between the platforms handily going to YouTube. Another single comes in from Super Gaming to put us at 199. This man's going to land the plane all on his own. He's probably got one more loaded and ready to go. But I'm going to call it a tie. Wired Rope drops a 5-bomb, and then the signal comes in from Super Gaming to get us to 205. Low latency. I'm going to call it a tie. That's a little unfair because we run normal latency on YouTube so that you guys get ads in the chat instead of on the screen. That's a little bit of an unfair advantage that Purple has. So I'm going to give it to both. You guys are both platforms are getting a gifted member. Thank you guys so much. We are exactly a 20 bomb away from the next milestone. Let's see if we can't get our first 20 bomb of the... that might be the first 20 bomb of the week if we get one. I think it's been all 5s and 10s. Let's see if we can't get our first 20 bomb of the day. Or it'll be the first 20 bomb of the day. We know that. Let's see if we can't get it. The Future Game Show returns Thursday, March the 12th. I like their stuff. What do they got going on? Do they got a time yet? I always put these in the calendar. Featuring premieres, demo drops, blah blah blah. Yeah, I don't think I don't think they've had a time yet. I'm gonna put it on the calendar. That's a Thursday. Future Game Show. It looks like the last one was in like the afternoon. I had the last one in the calendar as well. And a single comes in from Mr. Rissick himself. Bumps that line to 206. Thank you so much, Rissick. Metal Matt is trying to manifest a 50 bomb. I'm playing the game. I know what those are. Look up before you get to the boss room. You're welcome. Look up? I haven't found a single save point. I don't know what this guy's talking about in Mio. He's saying there's a save point right before that boss room. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I've unlocked a bunch of the map and haven't seen it. Breakpoint as a woman is pretty cool. Or Croft Findings. What do you think are the chances Fable has a character creator? We've talked about it a lot. I think we landed on if you're lucky, you're gonna pick between a guy and a girl, and they'll kind of be preset. I don't think you're gonna be doing like a full on character creator. I could be wrong. But they did an awful lot of work with that actress to be like, you don't even use her, you just make your own. Like, I think you're going to pick between, if you're lucky, you're going to pick between her and somebody else. When does it start? Hour and a half. I got the timer right next to me. Hour and a half. We'll be watching it together here. Make sure you guys hit the like button. We're close to 400 likes. Thanks so much for being here. If you guys like back and forth conversations, a highly interactive live stream, if you like listening to video game podcasts, especially ones that are safe for work, consider subscribing to the channel. That does help me out, and then you will see the content regularly in your feed. Body type 1 and 2. I feel like they would have shown the male character already. That's true. That's also true. It could just be her. Jez Corden said he heard you pick between male and female, and he did get to see the alpha footage before everybody else. So, I mean, he was certainly talking to somebody that was working on the project. So, charge anybody who asks for the countdown a sub. No. Keyword, I said it was a crazy prediction. I never said it was going to happen. Just make fun making crazy predictions. Everyone here is too serious. I mean, you know me, Christopher. I like having back and forth with you. You and I had all kinds of crazy predictions about GTA, and none of them ended up being true. So, yeah, like I said, I grant you the category of crazy prediction because it sounds pretty crazy. It's probably just easier from a marketing point to just keep showing the female lead. I think so. Yeah. The first trailer got everybody all upset because they claimed that she, that they made her ugly or whatever. And then the newer trailers, I think she looks great. I think she looks just like the actress. So, I can't wait to see Fable. I've wanted to play it since the first one. Is this GTA 6? No. Someone in chat was just saying when he thinks GTA 6 is going to start to kind of like ramp up marketing and how it's going to go. So, all Fable were like that. That's what people are saying, is that if you look at like the history of the game, they let you choose, so they would let you choose again. That's what people are predicting. Yeah. You just need Fallout news today. I don't know if you're going to get any Fallout news today. I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe. There's a lot of the rumors about like some of the remakes and stuff that are coming, but there's a surprise game. Maybe that could be one of the surprises. There are people saying, what about a shadow drop? I mean, maybe. The girl in GTA 6 looks pretty cool. Lucia, she looks pretty cool. I don't know. All right. It's like saying a Ferrari looks fast. Like feels like an understatement. Will they show GTA 6? I don't think so. No, I don't think it'll be a part of today's show. Xbox Developer Direct focuses on Xbox developers, their games that are typically coming the year that they're doing the Dev Direct, and then they go to the developer and they do interviews and, walk around the studio. Yeah. Would love a New Vegas remake. I think that's one of the rumors, isn't it? Isn't the Fallout 3 Remastered coming out? There's the Fallout 3 Remastered. I think there's a Vegas one. There's a rumor about that one as well. Lucia's a baddie. Top shelf baddie. What are y'all talking about? Like, which freaking, she looks pretty cool. All right. Is your wife in the room, bro? Like, why are you talking so? I do 100% believe marketing for GTA 6 starts around May or June. If the game stays on track for November, I agree with you that summer is when it heats up. If they're going to hold that date and they know they can hit it, yeah, I agree. I think the marketing heats up in the summer. Yeah. You think GTA is Q1 of next year? You think it gets delayed? Here's why I don't think they're going to do that. If they push it into Q1 of 2027 so that it stays in this fiscal period, so like the shareholders are happy or whatever, they'd be better off shipping in around the holiday, even if it's got problems. Even if it's got problems, you're just going to ship it. And you're going to trust that holiday momentum to carry you. Because if you're like, well, let's just push it in the first quarter so that it lands in this fiscal period so our shareholders don't get really mad. I don't know. I don't think they're going to miss it. If there is another delay, because people think there's another delay coming, I don't think it'd be the first quarter. I think they'd have to really push it. Because if you're going to justify pushing out a holiday of 2026, it's going to need to be more than just a couple of months. Because if it's just a couple of months, you know what the C-suite's going to say. They're going to say, you push that son of a gun out the door. We need a couple more months. No, you don't. You launch that sucker. We'll figure it out. We need that money. My money and gut tells me April to May of next year. If it gets delayed, I can't see it landing in the first quarter. Because if it's going to land in the first quarter, your C-suite, anybody answering to the shareholder is going to be like, I want you to listen to me, and I want you to listen to me real, real good. If you're going to delay this 1 or 2 months, we're shipping in November. We're going to get those holiday sales. If there's problems, bugs, glitches, so be it. We will fix those. If you actually need to delay it, it needs to be more than a couple of months. That's what the C-suite's going to say. They're not going to be like, yeah, that's fine. Take another 1 or 2 months. I'll go hat in hand to the shareholders and talk about why we're going to sell the biggest game of the decade in January instead of November. If they delay, it'll be, I don't think it's going to get delayed again, but if they do, it'll be significant. It won't be a month or two. He needs his game at Christmas for maximum profit. That's what I'm saying. You either legit push to like summer of next year, and boy, the shareholders are going to be ticked if you do that, because now you're shifting fiscal periods again. But you either shift it significantly to summer or fall of the next year, or you push that dadgum sucker out and you make a bunch of money and you figure it out as you go. Like, I want you to think about it. It's going to sell like crazy. And if you can patch it and fix it in a couple of months, that's what the C-suite would say. They'd be like, well, then just patch it and fix it after you launch it. If you can have this thing ready by January or February, then just ship it. November, December, the amount of sales that you're going to get compared to if you ship it in January, February. I know it's GTA, and you're like, well, it's still going to sell really well. You got to understand something. The percentage that you get by shipping in the holiday season, I don't think you'd want to miss that. Goat Gaming says, would you laugh if Satya shares a special message for Xbox gamers? If it's about AI, oh yeah, that'd be great. November to May is like 6 months. Yeah, I don't know, Weez. I don't know. The two insiders that spoke on this recently, Jason Schreier said he thinks they hit the date. And then another guy says, he's like, I don't want to say any more than this. He's like, I haven't heard anything to indicate a delay is coming. So I don't think the rumblings are there right now. I don't think the rumblings are there. Those guys would know before anybody. And the one guy literally said, he's like, I'm being very careful. He's like, I don't want to say too much. He didn't want to get anybody in trouble. So he was super generic about it. I think they hit it. I think they hit the date. I've been playing Onimusha 4 on the PC. Oh, okay. You're playing like old, you like emulating or something? Are they coming out with ChatGPT 2? Oh, I don't know. These companies are losing money, bro. Do you think Forza will specifically be only next gen? And if so, do you expect it to be overall better quality game because they're going to be able to maximize the capabilities of next gen? Wait, are you asking me, do you think there's a possibility that Forza would be on the Xbox One? Is that what you're asking me? No, it'll be just this gen. We're current gen now. We're not even next gen, homie. It is current gen. I don't like when people get pedantic about next gen, current gen, but yeah, I would say yes. Forza Horizon 6 is going to be Series X, Series S only. Yeah, so I would not expect them to do anything about AI in this or, any of that. And I would not expect them to put Forza Horizon 6 on the previous generation consoles. That'd be really weird. If they're trying to get GTA 6 so realistic, probably no day guns, no flying bikes, none of that other stuff. What I'm not sure what you mean. Wouldn't the other weird stuff show up typically like when you're online? You're not like playing through. Well, maybe, I don't know. I don't think the main game's gonna have any of that either. What am I most excited to see? I'm hoping we get a nice uncut look at Fable. That's what I'm hoping for. Do you think Forza will drop at the same time as the PS5? No. Forza, it got leaked through Horizon 5. There was like a splash screen that popped up. Forza's launching on the 19th of May, and I believe we heard that they didn't have enough time to get it ready for PlayStation. So its PlayStation release date will be staggered. Summer or fall, something like that. 6 months down the road. It'll show up. It makes money. Rockstar's famously not a hater of money. You ever see Elder Scrolls 6? Probably not going to be there, but, they had a playable version that they talked about like sometime last year, I think. I feel like them making Forza Horizon 5 available for Xbox One is where they fell short. They had to cater to the older console. I think cross-gen games are fine. I don't think they're that big of a deal. I think Forza Horizon 5 is probably your best-looking game this gen, with the exception of Hellblade 2. I mean, Hellblade 2 is gorgeous. It was also 30 FPS, so I still gave it to Forza. Now, Hellblade 2's had the 60 FPS update. So, Hellblade 2 and Forza Horizon 5 are two of your best-looking games on Xbox this gen. This is why I think the cross-gen complaint, I just don't think it's legitimate. Like, who could look at Forza Horizon 5 and be like, yeah, cross-gen, it really held it back. It got an incredible score from the critics. People loved it. I don't think anything in that fell short. This is a highly praised game. It's basically, again, right there with Hellblade 2. I think it's the best looking game to show off like Series X tech, to show off what what a Xbox game studio can do. I don't know. I think that's another really strong repudiation of the cross-gen complaint. I just don't think cross-gen is as big of a deal as people make it. I think it's an empty complaint. I really do. It's an empty complaint. I think it's made up scorekeeping by people that wanted to delegitimize one platform had a better cadence. They had more games coming out, and the only thing you could say is, well, they're cross-gen. Well, then, I guess, what then? Halo and Forza Horizon don't count? Like, what are we even talking about? Like, that would be ridiculous. Like, I think the cross-gen complaint's silly. It is. Anytime we see a game come out that looks incredible and we see an amazing showcase on like a really high-end PC, nobody says, well, it doesn't matter because you can run that game on a weaker PC. Nobody says that because it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's not a valid complaint. I've never, ever seen a tech breakdown or a tech showcase of a game on PC and people are like, yeah, but you can run it on a weaker PC at like 30 FPS. So what? Nobody cares about that. But that's a common complaint. And again, I put complaint in quotations. I don't even think it's a legitimate complaint. I think it's like manufactured scorekeeping. I do. I think it's manufactured scorekeeping. We don't do this in any other environment. We don't. Really awesome, cool-looking, multi-plat games come out every year, and you can run them on old PCs at like 30 FPS, and they don't look that great. No one's like, yeah, well, that game doesn't count, or that's not a good game. Nobody does that, because that doesn't make any sense. Why would that make the game less than, or less impressive, or less worthy of praise? It's a bankrupt argument. It is. It's only parroted by people who are looking for a reason to not count good games. They know the games are good, and this is what it is. It's such a concession. It is. It's a concession. They're conceding that they know the game is good. They can't criticize the game. So what do? They create like this external criteria to be like, well, it doesn't count. I mean, I know it got an incredible score and people loved it. It was massively commercially successful, and the tech breakdowns and the graphical fidelity praise from the tech outlets is just undeniable. So I don't have to address any of that to claim that the game's no good, or the super thoughtful, it's just a movie game. That's another wonderfully thoughtful criticism of games. What they'll say is, well, it doesn't count. They just get to kind of like move it off the table. It's just a bankrupt way of talking about games. It's tribalism from its head to its toe. It has nothing to do with the game's quality. Like, I don't even play games like Forza, and I can sit here and be like, that's an amazing game. It's incredible looking. It's one of the best looking games this gen, and that doesn't matter that it was cross-gen. That's called being consistent. Like, I don't care who makes it. I don't care what platform it's on. Cross-gen did not make Forza Horizon some, like, less than product or something. Don't get me wrong, I love the Forza franchise. My thoughts when I played Forza Horizon 5 were, if they can do all of this while still being limited to the capabilities of the Xbox One, what can they do without? Well, here's the thing, though. I think people forget how much headroom you get when you chop things like resolution and frame rate all the way down. It's like I said, if you have like a game that looks so incredible on this level of a PC, and then you kind of get it to run over here at 30 frames per second and the resolution's lower, nobody's like, yeah, the game's held back because they optimize it for like weaker hardware. Like, nobody says that, because they know you're playing at such a diminished level of performance that it's not an indictment of the game. It's only an indictment of the game, seemingly, when, it's PlayStation. We don't have this complaint almost anywhere else because it's manufactured. It's completely made up. It's not a genuine gamer complaint. It isn't. You go to the average consumer and they're playing, Miles Morales or Ragnarok or something, and you're like, what do you think of this game? And they're like, oh, it's awesome. I'm having a great time. Yeah, what do you think about the fact that people can play this on their PS4? They'd be like, okay, I don't care. Why would I care about that? Well, what it means is that, the game was held back, and so you're playing an inferior product. They'd be like, huh? It looks fine to me. What do you mean? Can you give me examples of why it's inferior or why it's not a good game? Yeah, it's cross-gen. That's not an example. That's not the game. You're not breaking down anything. You're not talking about anything. So, same deal with Forza Horizon 5. I think you can put that up on the shelf and say, this is a great looking game, worthy of the awards and nominations that it got. It being cross-gen is immaterial to the discussion of the game's quality. It has nothing to do with it. I get where you're coming from. You're saying, well, maybe they could have done more. Sure, if you play the Burning Shores DLC in Horizon, you can see, yeah, they could have done a little bit more with the game's fidelity and like the size of boss fights or something. And sure, Forza Horizon 5 may have been able to do some cooler things or newer things or whatever if it wasn't on Xbox One. But you also have to consider development pipelines. They were probably developing the game so long ago that it just made sense to have a version that ran on that previous gen console. Yeah, I'm going to schedule now. Let me schedule now so that the 30-minute noti can go out. I do a new stream when we do this. Thank you to whoever just said that it's in a little over an hour. It reminds me to do what I need to do. And the reason we do this is because when somebody comes to watch it later, they don't need this multiple hour waiting room in front of it. Okay. All right. If you guys could do me a favor while I'm a little bit distracted here, make sure that you are hitting the like button. Make sure you guys are doing all the things. You can always hit the dollar sign, the little dollar symbol at the bottom of the chat window. You may have a renewal to celebrate, and if you do, make sure and celebrate those. We like to add those to the total. I like to give you guys credit for supporting the channel directly. Okay. And we'll go over at 12:30. We'll go over 30 minutes beforehand. Okay. I appreciate the info. I obviously don't know how them making the game available to older consoles affected the overall quality of the product. It certainly would limit, maybe potential features or innovation. Sure, it would. The difficulty with that argument is it's an argument from the unknown. It's like we have no idea what that means, though. We have no frame of reference to be like, yeah, we were really robbed of a bunch of great stuff. What could they possibly have done? Especially like if you look at games like, Forbidden West and Ragnarok. They were in development almost immediately after the sequels came out, which means they were initially building the game on the old platform. Do you see what I'm saying? They get this great jump head start, whether it's like Miles Morales or Forbidden West or Ragnarok. They get this amazing head start because they can immediately start working on the game. So this idea like, well, we could have gotten such a better game. And it's like, how do you even know that? That would have pushed development back significantly. We wouldn't have been playing Forbidden West and Ragnarok in the year that we played it. That wouldn't have happened. They would have come out way after the fact because they would have had to wait for the dev kits to show up to start development. Which means there is no better game that you could have been playing. It doesn't exist. It's fairy dust. It's imaginary. It's not real. It's this idea that like, oh, the Forbidden West was really held back. No, it wasn't. If you wanted Forbidden West only for the PS5, you'd have waited. We would have played it, I don't know, in 2024 or in 2025. We wouldn't have played it when we played it. You'd have waited a lot longer for it. So, no, Ragnarok, none of those games were quote-unquote held back because their development cycle was able to start so much earlier, which inevitably helped the project. It gives you more time, more lead time, more time to talk about things, ideas, storyboards, story experiment ideas, all sorts of things. You can't do any of that if you're like, well, we got to sit around and wait. We got to wait for that new dev kit. You're just sitting around on your hands for how long? I don't know when the dev kits for the PS5 started getting circulated, but I don't know. It certainly wasn't right after Ragnarok dropped or right after Zero Dawn dropped. This is going to be the best game ever. Forza Horizon 5 already sounds perfect to me and looks amazing. Oh, you mean Forza Horizon 6? Yeah, I think people that like these kind of games are probably in for a treat. I mean, those guys do good work over there. So, it's not the team that did Forza Motorsport. I know Forza Motorsport was really rough, and it got kind of taken to the cleaners by the the gaming public. But Horizon looked good because they hired Third Floor to work on it. Huh? What are you talking about? Story would have been written before kits were sent out anyways. Right, but you know what I mean. Like, if you can get a jump start on it, you can start working on all sorts of things. You can work on motion capture. A lot of ideas and improvisation comes out when you've got motion capture happening and the actors are in the room. Like, I don't know. As someone obsessed with The Witcher, how excited should I be to try Fable when it drops? I mean, they've clearly got some The Witcher DNA in there. You know what I mean? There's no reason to have a whole lot of anticipation. You'll know in a couple of hours where you land, because I think they're going to show us a pretty good amount of gameplay. So, see last. Zubair says, how can we say the Series S held back the Series X, but not say the PS4 held back the PS5? It's a fair question, but I think it's missing what we're actually saying. So, when you go into this gen, and you've got games that were already in development for the PS4, those games are not held back because their development cycle started very early. So early on, did anybody say Forza Horizon 5 was held back by the Series S? No, that wouldn't make any sense. It was a cross-gen title. The problem with the Series S is your new floor is barely higher than the previous gen. And the issue they had with parity. You literally had games coming out at 30 FPS because they seemingly didn't want any first-party games coming out and having a difference there. You also have to think about this, Zubair. What about all the third-party developers that started working with the new dev kits? From the very beginning, you're basically saying you need to be able to develop for this machine here that's barely stronger than the previous gen. Like 8 gig of usable memory. Here you go. When everybody's anticipating the new floor of memory being around 16? It's like, what in the world? So it's like, from the very beginning, anybody that wants to tap into new stuff and leave behind old gen doesn't really get to. Does that make sense? If anybody would have ever said, well, Forza Horizon and Halo Infinite, they were held back by the Series S, I'd have been like, no, they weren't. Those are cross-gen titles. But the minute you try to move away from that era of time and you really want to start showing stuff off, like games like Returnal and Ratchet that leveraged the I/O and the data handler and the SSD and all of that, you couldn't have had that happening if those were cross-gen titles. You also probably couldn't have had that happening if PlayStation launched with an 8 gig of usable RAM system. Look at Spider-Man 2. Look at the traversal and the fast travel. That happens because developers are like, we're building for this and only this. Everything is fine-tuned for this. You don't get that when you walk into the gen and you're like, anybody that wants to leave behind old gen, the little stepbrother's got to be included. Series S has got to be included. Why do people care about 60 FPS so much? I mean, I feel like that question has just such an obvious answer. It's 2026. How could you at this point not care about 60 FPS? Listen, God love you. If you're still on a PS4 or an Xbox One and 30 FPS doesn't bother you, you stay there as long as you can. As soon as you experience 60 FPS for a duration of time longer than like a couple of days, you are not going to be able to go back. It affects everything. It can affect response time, iframes, latency, smoothness, immersion. Like it really, really does have an effect on your experience. Now, if you've never experienced it, I remember when I was accustomed to 30 FPS in Destiny, and then you know what happened? I played Destiny 2 on a PC in LA, and I was like, oh my gosh, the FOV was higher. I felt like I was moving faster. It felt smoother. It felt like a different game. I'm telling you, the minute you experience for a duration of time longer than 1 or 2 play sessions is usually enough. You're like, holy mackerel, this is amazing. Until you see it, you don't know. I had a plasma TV that was, 8 or 9 years old. And the community was incensed that I was going to plug a Series X and a PS5 into it. And they were very kind, and they got me a Father's Day present, and they all got together, they pooled their money, and they bought me a television because they knew I wouldn't do it for myself. If I buy things, it's usually for my kids. And homie, when I first turned that television on, I was like, what is happening? Is this from the future? Yeah, it was a 720 plasma. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. You're like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. So yes, I totally understand somebody that just really, really hasn't ever, experienced anything beyond 30. It doesn't really bother you. It really doesn't. Then you start playing something at 60 and it really, really changes the experience. It just does. Smoother, but let's say you're in a combat game, your timing window for like parries is noticeably better too. The time from you pressing the button to the action on screen is noticeable. Yeah. Plasma's better than a normal LCD. This was an old plasma, homie. It was a 720 plasma. Yeah. Yep. From January 23rd to the 26th, try Avatar's Frontiers of Pandora for free. Experience a new third-person update. Looks like you guys can try Avatar Frontiers of Pandora for free starting tomorrow for 3 days. Like a free weekend, it looks like. If you guys are just tuning in, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it so much. Hit that like button. Hit subscribe. I do this Monday through Friday, so make sure your bell button's set to all. If you like this kind of content, I keep it safe for work. It's lively. It's interactive. It gets a little passionate, but I keep it safe for work. And if you've never done a membership before on YouTube, consider doing one. For $5 a month, you can join the community here and become one of the patrons of this channel. That's how I do this full time. So for basically a cup of coffee, that's how much it costs to support this channel every month. If you've never done that before, you can try it out for a month and see if you like it. You get into our Discord. When I play games on my Samsung, it does beautiful post-processing stuff that bumps it up to 120. Why are y'all coming in with this? Oh, no, that's a different model. And never mind. I thought it was a different person saying the same model. Yo, Verbal Stampede uses their Prime over there on purple and bumps the line to 207. Thank you so much. If you guys can make this total, hit 500, you get a Saturday night stream with my wife and I where she reacts to the week's gaming news. So you can gift, you can resub, you can upgrade, you can sign up brand new and help us with that. I love this product placement thing that we're doing now. I need to get some sponsors. That's right. There's just people just coming in. They're just like, I love my Samsung Q92241. It's like, what? Watch Switch 2 not make it through this generation due to its limitations. GTA 6 will run like rubbish on that toaster. And since the PS6 and the next Xbox are near, it's in big trouble. I want to test the logic of what you're saying here. So you think the weakness of the Switch 2 is going to hurt it this gen because of the other consoles? I think we need to test your logic on the Switch 1. I think when we test your logic on the Switch 1, it falls apart. I don't think that what you're predicting will even remotely come true. The Switch 1 was incredibly weak in comparison to the consoles that it was surrounded by, and it did incredible. I just don't think the logic holds. I think the market views it as a very different device. It's not a cross-shopped device. No one's like, well, I was going to get a Switch, but I have a PlayStation. It's, well, I'm going to get a Switch, and I also have a PlayStation. It's not a cross-shop device. It's a device that you have in addition to what you already kind of game on. If you game on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox, the Switch 2 is like an additive purchase, so it's not really competing. A lot of people buy a Switch 2 and they're like, I'll play Zelda and Mario on it, but if I'm going to play Cyberpunk or the latest FromSoft game, well, except for Dustbloods, you play it. You play those on your console or PC of choice. The Switch 2's not there to be that for them. So, I get where you're coming from. You're like, yeah, it's a weak device. That didn't matter last time. It's not going to matter this time. It does not need a single third-party game to live. Yeah, it lives off first-party games, homie. They print money with like Zelda, Mario, Pokemon. They're like, oh no, we won't be the premier console for GTA 6. Anyway, here's a new Pokemon. They don't care. You know what I mean? That's Stephen A. Smith. Like, we don't care. We don't care. Nintendo doesn't care. They're like, that's fine. We'll be all right. We can shovel out a new Zelda or Pokemon and make an absolute killing. Their operational costs are so lean. Oh, they're so lean. The size of the studios, the amount of studios they have, the amount of money they spend, oh my gosh. And then the games sell stupid amounts. This is not like before. Power is rising fast. No, it's not. That's not true at all. Switch 2 will be obsolete in no time. Even its sales are tanking in the West now. PS5 outsold at 5-1 in the US and Europe alone. I think you got a real faulty premise there. Power is rising fast? No, it's not. No, it's not, dude. There's a whole lot of narrative going around about how like power's not really rising fast. They're having to lean on like upscaling and frame gen, and raw power isn't the jump anymore. It's not going to be the jump on the PS6. Mark Cerny basically said that. Like, Your premise is super faulty. I'm sorry. You're pitting the PlayStation against the Nintendo. I don't think that's a thing. I don't think people are cross-shopping the devices. The Nintendo Switch 2 is breaking every record it's ever held. I don't know. Dustblood's going to be awesome. The Switch 2 tops PS5 to lead hardware sales in 2025. Yeah, if you've got like a window of time where in the US and Europe, PS5 outsold the Switch 2, for the year, the Switch 2 passed it up. The Switch 2 led hardware sales last year. Nintendo is greedy and will get what they deserve. They could have made it less expensive, but arrogant and greedy. I sometimes think I believe in the multiverse because I feel like you're from another universe and you somehow drifted into ours. Homie, how in the world are you thinking that the Switch 2 is too expensive? It's $450? It's right in line with other devices, and it's actually a very good handheld. In the realm of handhelds, if you stick to their first-party games, it is an excellent handheld. It's well built. It's got a nice screen. It's a very nice handheld. For the price, good Lord. It's very, very reasonably priced for what it offers. Yeah, it's like $400 actually. I'm sorry. It's $450 if you do the bundle. It's $400. How in the world is that greedily priced? Meanwhile, PlayStation raised price on their hardware. Xbox has raised prices on their hardware twice. But Nintendo's the greedy one that's going to run into trouble? Huh? I feel like you're from another timeline. I don't think I agree in the least bit. Mile High with 27 months on a Prime over there on Purple. Anybody know how I can get a good cup of coffee? Well, you go to reforgeroast.com. You can buy a bag of coffee for $10.95. It's cheaper than anywhere you can buy coffee right now. Steam Deck's still better. I mean, Steam Deck's better dependent on the consumer and what you're wanting to use it for. For $400, you could buy a Switch 2 and play games like the upgraded version of both Zelda games, the new Metroid and Mario, and Mario Kart. It's a really nice handheld for $400. But yeah, if you're wanting something more robust that can, access your Steam library and play games that, you got a lot of third-party games you could be playing on there. It's Steam Deck's wonderful, but it's quite a bit more money. Depends on what you're wanting to get out of it. Pokemon Legends ZA sold 5.8 million copies globally in the first week. Yeah, I mean, they sold more copies in the first week their latest Pokemon game than some games sell lifetime. It's only selling more in Japan. All right, man, whatever you want to think, man. I think your predictions are not going to come true. You can think them, you can feel them, you can argue for them. I don't think any of those predictions come true. I don't think people cross-shop these devices. I don't think PlayStation and Xbox are a threat to Nintendo. They haven't been for a very long time. They don't even go after the same type of consumers. They just don't. Like, PlayStation struggles in Japan. Nintendo Switch 1 sold like a Nintendo Switch to every fourth person in Japan. Oh, did you move your camera? You are slightly angled and it's driving me crazy. You feeling okay? Looks fine to me. The camera's like over there, so it's always going to be slightly askew. Maybe it's a little bit more than normal today. I don't know. PS5 is begging for Xbox games. So, how are you begging for something that you're getting? I don't understand that. If I tell you that starting next month, I'm going to give you $5 every month. You just have to come to my door. If you came to my door, wouldn't it be kind of weird for me to be like, you're begging? Like I told you I was going to give it to you. So like Xbox says, Yeah, we're not doing exclusives anymore. We're going to start putting our games on PlayStation. How is anybody begging for anything? They said they're going to give it to the PlayStation platform. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like when you get your paycheck from your boss, he's just like, here he comes right on time. It's Friday. Coming in here begging for money. It's like, no, you said you were going to pay me. What? I don't understand. How is this begging? You told me that you were going to pay me money. That's weird, isn't it? How do you beg for something you've been told you're going to get? Doesn't make any sense. Eugene says you hate data apparently and just make stuff up. I do not hate Nintendo. I just hate their arrogance. I don't think listen, Nintendo has charted their own course, man. I mean, if you want to say they're a little arrogant, sure. I think they've kind of earned it. I think they've kind of earned it. You know? Without even asking? Yeah, I don't get why people are still throwing around the term port begging. It's really weird energy. It's like, listen, man. Nobody begged for any of this. Xbox was just like, we're going to start putting our games over there. And people are like, cool. We'll check them out if they look good. You know what I mean? I don't know. Did all the people that were excited that, like, Spider-Man and God of War came to PC, were they begging? No. PlayStation's like, we're going to start putting our games on PC. We're going to stagger the ports, you know. And then when they showed up where people are like, hey, look at you begging. It's like, no, they just bought something that was told that they were going to get. It doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? It's weird. There's a reason that Nintendo has been successful for over 40 years. You said to me yesterday that my PC was from the future, 300 FPS at the highest quality, 4K. This is normal for PC. No, you said it was kicking the crap out of the PlayStation 6, and I asked if you were from the future because it wasn't out yet. You were fighting a fight against something that's not even in the market yet. It probably will outperform it, but it was just weird. Like, it kicks the crap out of the PlayStation 6. I'm like, are you from the future? Like, Mile High with 45 months on a VIP. Let me add it. 209. Thank you, Mile High. Appreciate you, brother. This guy does it all. He uses his Prime over there. He ordered some coffee. Thank you so much. 2 bags of the Frickmas, and he's over here doing some members and some tips. That's my man. Thank you, Mile High. 300 FPS, 4K. Guys, let him. Guys, it's fine. It's fine. Let him. Let him. It's fine. He's getting 300 FPS and 4K and Vampire Survivors. Like, let him take that victory lap, okay? His mom told him he's special. You're special, bud. You're a special guy. Your mommy's special boy. Rissick with the gifted. Let's see it. 210. 210. PlayStation is the iPhone of consoles. Everyone wants it at launch. I mean, yeah, Rissick gifts another one and gets us to 211. Mile High gifts one and gets us to 212. Thank you so much, boys. We're close to unlocking. Basically, 250 means I'm going to chill with y'all, you know, instead of Madam. We'll do it in the Discord. You guys get to 500 and we do a stream with Madam. That's kind of how we do it. Anyway, in about 15 minutes, we're going to shift gears and we're going to get ready with a co-stream of the event. Right now, we're just in the waiting room. A $10 super chat Mommy's special boy. Thank you, Mile High, for the $10 super chat. Zubair says, that's a good analogy. A product with an established history is being liked by the people buying it. Yes. And a 50 bomb comes in from Rissick. This guy is a maniac. Absolute maniac. Mile High with a $10 tip using the tip command, and he just says Mile High. If you guys would prefer to not do super chats or gifteds, you can tip me directly with the tip command. That is very much appreciated. Thank you to everybody who decides to do that. You know, if you feel like doing that instead, that is available to you. Rissick just took over the chat. Rissick needs somebody to battle him, man. This guy's a couple weeks in a row now. This homie's just carrying the member count on his back. Jay comes in with 32 months in a VIP. I'm getting up there. Who's ready for third-party direct? Let's go. There it is. You guys get your snark in. You go ahead and get your snark in. It's fine. A little snark doesn't hurt anybody. A little bit of snark doesn't hurt anybody. Here's what we're going to do, though. Before we switch gears, I am going to... that felt amazing. I'm going to take just a brief break. But before I do that, make sure you guys are doing all of the things, right? Hitting like, checking your memberships. You know, somebody go toe-to-toe with this man, Rissick. You guys are letting him take the crown every single day and every single week. You know what I'm saying? Band together like Voltron, okay? And give this man some competition, okay? All right. Y'all are the best. I'll be right back. Forgot to grab my hoodie. Oh. Okay. All right. We're going to switch gears here in just a little bit. We're going to watch the Xbox Developer Direct together. Sorry about that. Appreciate you guys hanging out for the day and enjoying the content. We do a live stream pretty much Monday through Friday. Somebody says you remind me of an older mini lad. I don't know who that is. Even if it was true that Xbox is publishing more first-party games, it wouldn't matter since most, if not all, the games will be day and date on PlayStation. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why anybody's fighting about that anymore. They're publishing games and putting them everywhere. Like, there's no fight, there's no competition, there's no they're going to win and they're going to do this. Let's just hope the games are good, you know? The era of time where there's like a fight between those two platforms especially, there just isn't one anymore. That's not even... Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox have completely different approaches to the market. You know? They're not attempting to do... Any of them are not attempting to do the same thing. There's not. Especially if you listen to the man in charge. Like, if you listen to how Satya talks about everything. You know? Somebody's out there doing something. I thought, what in the world was that noise? Yeah, like 4-year-old in your head correcting your language now. Yeah, we don't use that word. Zubair. Let's see. We got the show is going to start in about 38 minutes. Oh, he did? Where? Oh. I've never seen or heard of that before. I don't even know what that is. Okay. Consoles will eventually disappear for live service streaming. Sounds bad, but it's the reality. No, it won't. I don't think so. The only way something like that survives is if there is consumer demand and support for it. And I don't think that won't happen. I remember when people were making similar predictions about 3D televisions. Didn't happen. It didn't happen. Why? There was no market demand. Consumers responded so negatively to it. This idea like, yeah, hardware's going to go away. There won't be PCs or consoles in the future. We'll just live stream everything. No. Call me crazy until it happens. You're going to need such a severe infrastructural change across major, cities and countries for that to work. Because right now, America especially, is just the infrastructure's not there for it. The internet's just not there for that kind of a thing to work. I don't even know. You would need for somebody to be able to experience it and have it be virtually indistinguishable from having a PC or console in their home. That's how it would need to be that good. So you're talking about tech advancements and infrastructure advancements that I don't know if we're going to see anytime soon. Maybe my grandkids would be like, tell us about that time you had a PC, Grandpa. And I'd be like, yeah, well, here's a box and you plugged it into your television. And they're like, we don't do that. There's citywide Wi-Fi that's the fastest it's ever been. And, everything's instantaneous. I don't know. America just doesn't have the infrastructure for it. You just are not going to be able to sell enough people on it. You're not going to. It's not like streaming a television show. It isn't. So when the market doesn't support it or demand it or pay for it, it'll die. So I don't know why you're bashing on my PC. I own a 1.2 million property, my dude. You're a lame. I tell you, you really posture as somebody who's sitting on 1.2 mil property. You really do. The guys that I know that are silly, silly wealthy, they spend their time bragging about how many frames per second they get on their PC and YouTube chats. You guys you're a unique breed, you know? Tons of money, so wealthy, and that's what you spend your time doing. That's great, man. It's awesome. We're all very impressed. Everybody clapped. Everybody clapped. I wasn't hating on your PC. I wasn't. You were talking about getting 300 FPS in 4K. Like, come on, dude. What are you doing? What are you doing? We're laughing at you because of what you're bragging about. Just seems silly. I mean, I got guys in here with monster rigs that they're not in here talking about getting 300 FPS 4K. Like, we're laughing at you, bro. We're just having a giggle. It isn't that big of a deal. Nobody insulted your mom. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Make him prove it. Tell him to drop 500 gifted. No, I ain't doing that. I thought you were winning that argument until he brought up his income. He really dropped the hammer on you. Yeah, man. You got me. You totally did. You absolute stun locked me with that one, dude. All right, let me quickly switch gears here with you guys. All right. I'm going to spam a link in chat. All right, let's do this. Let's do that. Give me 1 second. Boom. I'm going to redirect you guys as well. We'll kind of do both. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Let me... Here we go. I'm going to ping the Discord as well, so we can get everybody on this new stream. Get that like count up, boys. All right. There's a link in chat, okay? And then I'm going to go and pull up, well, yeah, I don't need it just yet. Okay. Apparently they're trying to go live right now. I don't really know. It looks like they're trying to go live early for probably like a countdown or something. Okay, here we go. You guys have a link in chat, and I will also be redirecting you. Let's make sure as soon as we get over there, man, get that like count up and go crazy, okay? Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you're watching this later, it is my co-stream of the Xbox Developer Direct 2026. You're going to want to skip ahead by about 30 minutes or so. That is when the show will officially start. We are looking forward to Fable 2026 gameplay, Forza Horizon 6, and they actually are now streaming with a countdown. They were seemingly having a little bit of trouble. They're streaming at 480. They're going to have to sort that out. That's pretty bad. I'm going to refresh their stream, see if I can't get it looking a little bit better. I'm going to end the previous stream. We did a waiting room, and I'm going to bring folks over. Make sure that you guys are using the link in chat as well to come over. And thank you guys so much for the continued support of the channel.